These showers, perhaps by Thursday night, a better chance on Friday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has digital banking solutions to help you keep up. Check balances, pay bills, and much more. Learn more at cbsbank.com. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for information. Member FDIC.
1819 News.
A state lawmaker is looking to revitalize an Alabama law that deals with illegal immigration. The Beeson-Hammond Alabama Taxpayer and Citizen Protection Act was passed by Republicans in the state legislature back in 2011. That law was never fully enforced by the Attorney General at the time, Luther Strange. Now State Senator Chris Elliott wants to revisit that law. He spoke about it on FM 106.5 out of Mobile.
There was much talk about, the Beeson-Hammond Act of 2011 and how that was, put on ice by the federal courts, right? Well, we've got different federal courts. We've got a different Supreme Court thanks to President Trump. And I think some of those things are worth looking at again. But our federal government for the last 3.5 years has driven us further and further and further into the ditch. The Biden-Harris administration has no interest in solving this problem. They want to make it worse. I think the vice president is down at the border for the first time, which is about the most ridiculous thing I've heard of. We have got to take some action because at the end of the day, this is happening in our backyards.
I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Covenant Grocery Group seeks to directly support organizations and agencies that are fighting the global battle against human trafficking. They do this through funding, procuring, and advocating. You can go to covenantrescue.org for further details. They need your donations, guys. Hop on and donate.
A drug bust in Shelby County has landed 3 people behind bars. Justin and Jocelyn Ferguson, along with Anthony Rima, are charged with illegal drug possession as well as chemical endangerment of a child. Sheriff deputies found cocaine, meth, psychedelic mushrooms, and marijuana after searching a Helena residence. A small child was also found at that home. This past Sunday was the 1-year mark since Stephen Perkins of Decatur was shot and killed outside of his home by Decatur police. One of the 4 officers, Mac Marquette, is now being charged with murder in that shooting and will go to trial in April of next year. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 special. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
I'm Wes Allen, Secretary of State. In Alabama, election integrity is a top priority. We must ensure fair, secure, and transparent elections. To vote in Alabama, state law requires voters to present a valid form of photo identification. For a complete list of acceptable identification, or to learn more about acquiring a free photo voter ID, visit alabamavotes.gov.
This message is presented by Alabama Secretary of State Wes Allen.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspect that, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. And what a mess. Like, so much is a mess. Kamala Harris is a mess. I think Trump's a little bit of A mess?
You are a rude, terrible person.
I think all of American politics is a mess.
Yes.
FEMA, oh Lord, FEMA is certainly a mess.
You ever had to deal with him?
Thank God, no. Eddie Bader here in the studio with me. I'm Joey, and
FEMA's tough, man. I've dealt with him a couple times.
How do you say tough?
The rigmarole.
Oh,
the BS.
The bureaucratic nightmare.
Yeah. We went through Hurricane Hugo in Sumter, South Carolina, and literally there was nothing left. There was nothing.
And of course, you've got to wonder, where are they?
Kind of wondered that too. I've got friends in South Carolina now, some family.
I've got family in South Carolina. I'm supposed to go there this upcoming weekend.
Oh.
Yeah, we're on the bubble.
Yeah.
My dad drove up a generator. Luckily, my brother, the wife, the dogs, and of course, little Lucy, baby Lucy, they're all good.
Good.
Like they slept through it. And then we're able to go to a friend's house for a few days with power, and they're fine. But in particular, when you look at East Tennessee, and North Carolina, there's somebody we know who has a daughter in Asheville, North Carolina. She's all right because she's downtown, has power, but you cannot get in or out of Asheville.
Yep.
So they're having to helicopter things in. There are towns that are just completely gone now.
Yep.
Because a lot of these places, East Tennessee and North Carolina, they're building on the rivers, right?
Yeah. And it's flooding. And North Carolina already had 20 inches, in some parts, 20 inches of rain before this hurricane come through. So they just couldn't take no more.
Oh, no, and there's a part of Greenville where they just renovated. It's like their kind of crown jewel there in the city, where it's a small river, but when I was there was hardly any water flow.
Yeah.
Like you'd see a little bit of a trickle.
Yeah.
And my brother, they were there and they took a shot of it. It is like a raging river now. So just seeing that amount of water was dumped on these places. But again, I asked the question, where's FEMA? Get this quote from a FEMA administrator.
Okay.
This was just given to CBS. Quote, I don't know that anybody could be fully prepared for the amount of flooding from Helene in North Carolina.
Yeah.
You're starting to get echoes of Katrina all over again. And of course, Kamala Harris is like, well, I'm sitting here getting a briefing on what's happening. And folks pointed out, number one, your earphones, like your earbuds, they're not even plugged in your phone. Number two, the paper that you've got your pen over is blank.
No. Yeah, I figured that.
Is everything fake with her? What a mess. An absolute mess. It is a absolute disaster, folks.
Yeah, my nephew, they called and said they were told to probably next 30 days without power. And they live in
that's crazy.
Nice neighborhood. But after Hurricane Hugo, we went that longer. It's a matter of hours where you realize, holy crap, you're on your own. I mean, you're on your own. We were literally getting water out of the swimming pool, bathing out of the swimming pool, that kind of thing. No power, no water.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, and it seems like there are good stories coming out of it of people looking out for people, of course, too.
Of course.
A lot of great private heroes, let's just say. If I was Elon Musk, we would be flying in thousands of the Starlink minis.
Funny you bring that up. I saw where the Cajun Navy is there now, and they said they've got a couple thousand Starlink with them, ready to go. So I'm glad that people have thought that far in advance.
Yeah, well, because cell towers all down.
They're all down, yeah.
And people can use these Starlink minis, which are now the size of like a tablet.
Yep.
Pretty remarkable device.
Friend of ours has one. It's pretty cool.
And it really is amazing technology. That needs to be delivered in there. Get a load of this, the Tennessee 750 members of the Tennessee National Guard, they were just sent off overseas. Kind of need them right now.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, FEMA's still waiting.
What are they waiting for?
I don't know. They got to assess the situation. Well, I think they're trying to figure out how to equitably make this happen. Did you see this has been making the rounds now? Where it's FEMA.gov.
Okay.
Goal number 1. Now, if you're running FEMA, if I somehow ended up president of the United States and I tapped Eddie to be my FEMA administrator.
Okay.
What do you think goal number 1 would be?
Get everybody back to zero as quick as you can.
Baseline.
Yep.
Power,
Everyone.
food, water, the basics.
Get everybody back.
Yeah. And also, on top of that, you probably add rescue teams for folks. That might be priority number one, actually, to get into collapse things.
Yeah, that's more National Guard, though.
Well, okay.
I mean, that's
well, but they're overseas serving somewhere else. So, but no, that's not FEMA's number one goal. Looking here at FEMA.gov, it says goal 1.
Yeah.
Business : instill equity as a foundation of emergency management.
How's that working out?
And, in times like this, I'm constantly reminded that whenever the government screws up, whether it's emergency response or it's, say, the constant plague that is public education, the answer is always, yeah, we've screwed up, but give us more money.
Oh, yeah.
We just need more money.
More money. Throw good money at bad problems.
It's absolutely crazy. And Biden, of course, was asked about all this. And, well, here, let's play the clip.
Okay.
He just gave a press conference. Apparently, he was at the beach all weekend, though.
Yeah, of course he was.
Crying shame. But here's Biden being asked about traveling there and seeing the folks. So take it away, Mr. President, if you still are.
I also want you to know, I'm committed to traveling to the impacted areas as soon as possible, but I've been told that it would be disruptive if I did it right now. We will not do that at the risk of diverting or delaying any of the response assets needed to deal with this crisis. My first responsibility is to get all the help needed to those impacted areas. I expect to be there, excuse me, I have a cold. I expect to be there later this week. I and my team are in constant contact with the governors, mayors, and local leaders.
How long is he going to keep this cold?
Yeah, I was about to say,
it's just
you've had that for months.
That's just going to be a constant excuse from here on out.
Well, and I mean, I guess when you look, if you read the transcript of that, he's saying the right things, but does that performance inspire confidence?
Nothing. Not even close.
And as he's walking away, how reporters yell questions after these little speeches.
They're not supposed to do that to him no more.
I know. I mean, he's only got a few good hours.
Right.
But here's an example of that.
Do you expect Iran to retaliate? On the hurricane, Mr. President, why weren't you and Vice President Harris here in Washington commanding this weekend?
I was commanding. I was on the phone for at least 2 hours yesterday and the day before as well. I command. It's called a telephone. And all my security people.
Is it not important for the country to see?
He was at his beach house.
That's so pathetic.
And Kamala's fundraising in San Francisco. Trump trying to make his way there. But again, this is, in some areas, you can't get in or out.
No, you can't. I think my nephew said they went from where they're at in Johnston, South Carolina. They were trying to head to North Myrtle Beach, I think. But anyway, it took them 4.5 hours. It's just debris everywhere. And you saw the pictures of I-95. One day it's a interstate, the next day it's literally a river all the way across.
I'm now showing on the stream, folks. You can go to Joey Clark Live on YouTube or at the Joey Clark on X. It's drone footage of the disaster area. This is actually all over sort of the coastal area of the Southeast, but in particular East Tennessee and North Carolina. Like, some of these towns will recover.
Oh, yeah.
They'll get back. Some of these towns are gone. People are going to have to relocate.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a wake-up call that we have to be prepared for stuff like this. Man. Those images are just hard to contemplate, especially when you start thinking about, that's my business, that's my house.
Look, I don't know if you saw some over the weekend where people were staying at some rental places, and all of a sudden the water just came rushing down the mountain into the house they were staying in. And they suddenly had to evacuate just like that. It's crazy. Mudslides left and right.
But what happened to preparing for the 10,000-year storm? You know, we talk about all this stuff that, hey, let's engage in, say, a climate change conversation. That, by the way, came up.
Yeah.
It's going to make it more difficult because of global heating and whatnot. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to do economic games using political power to potentially affect temperature over, say, 100 years, 50 to 100 years.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Number one, you can't really measure the impact of your policies that far in advance.
That's right up there with peeing in the ocean and trying to turn it yellow, Joey. It ain't going to happen, Bubba.
So if instead of focusing on things that I think are just an excuse for more centralized control and micromanaging of everyday life that so many global elites want, what if instead you actually adapted? Knowing that actually these things aren't new. Hurricanes aren't new. Tornadoes aren't new. And instead of reacting without much ready to go at the last second, leaving people in the lurch, why not prepare for the 10,000-year storm? You won't need it every 10,000 years. Like, well, that's a waste of resources. No, it's not. Having those resources in reserve, having the ability to respond to the worst case scenario is exactly what something like FEMA should be all about. Instead, I'm looking at Katie Britt on the screen there on Fox Business. ICE just reporting 400,000 convicted criminals illegally in the U.S.
Over 400.
Millions and millions of people from all over the world coming in. 4% of the Haitian population has now been brought into the United States. That's crazy. And the way I judge this and have judged this for the longest time is I honestly don't blame the people trying to get in here. And I'm saying the honest ones that want to work. Like if I wasn't in the United States and I wanted to make it and have some opportunity, I'd try to get into the United States. Who I blame are the so-called leaders.
Yeah.
And so we now have falling trust in our elections. We have a true crisis with the migrant situation. A lot of these problems, by the way, not organic, problems created by the current administration. It's not like war is slowing down anytime soon. Mm-hmm. Did you see that, Taiwan just got $500 million in a package?
Yeah.
Billions more in weapons packages going to Ukraine? But, nobody could have been prepared for this flooding in North Carolina, says FEMA. Now, we can do all sorts of things. We can dominate the whole world. We can invite the whole world in. And we can put a chicken in every pot. Well, let's just go to UBI and let the AI robots and overlords just run everything. Yeah, it's a lie. And unless you get back to the fundamentals, get back to the basics, like say, we're not gods, we can only control so much, then you can, what's the cliche, control the controllables. You prepare for stuff. But this government's not preparing for squat, other than possibly screwing over the native population while calling it a service. I woke up in a fantastic mood this morning, and I started looking at these images. Mm-hmm. I was very happy that my brother and my niece, my brother and his wife, that family's okay, that was in the path of the storms. I'm like, okay, personally, we're good. Hopefully I get to go see them soon. But as I started watching these videos and the destruction and then reading those quotes from people that are supposed to be in charge of very important institutions when people are in a lurch, man, what a mess. An absolute mess. Oh, by the way, over the weekend, the New Yorker came out and said, time to torch the Constitution?
Yeah, I seen John Kerry was saying the First Amendment's getting in the way.
Yeah, it's a big roadblock. Fran Lebowitz.
You know who's in the way?
Did you see Fran Lebowitz saying that Biden should just get rid of the Supreme Court? Because they're not a real court anymore.
Oh, is that right? Because they don't agree with Fran all the time?
So how many things can you chip away at in the so-called social contract, though I didn't sign squat? How many things like freedom of speech, pretty fundamental cornerstone, let's say, because freedom of speech also suggests freedom of conscience and thought and belief. You chip away at that, you chip away at the document that is supposed to be the supreme law of the land, the justification for your power. You chip away at every major institution. At what point do we get to say, well, we aren't doing anything together. We don't live in the same country anymore. That's probably not a day that's going to arrive anytime soon, but you're playing with fire. Because if you say, oh, let's just get rid of the Constitution and then we'll come up with something new. It's like, I don't want to come up with something new with you. Leave me alone.
Right.
I don't want war against you. I don't want to hurt you. I don't have ill will towards you. I want you. I want the world. I wish you heaven. But we're going to have problems if you go back on the fundamentals, the deals that everybody's relied on, that every kid going through crappy public schools is told, these are the basics of American governance. Here's the rule of law. And blah, blah, blah. Well, and then you just do away with those things. You've broken your deal. You've broken the covenant. And you have to persuade people to come back, in my humble opinion. So it's a mess, Eddie.
Yeah.
Absolute mess. Speaking of mess, did you see that folks are starting to freak out that you can't get to porn sites in Alabama now?
Yeah. Yeah. And I have heard a few rumblings about that.
Like the legislature passed this thing. It's requiring age verification.
You gonna call them?
Yeah, apparently there's a message. I was reading Craig Munger's report on it at 1819news.com. Apparently it puts up this big like message.
Is it
like
a shaming
call your no, it's not a shaming mechanism. It's like yeah, somebody just texted me VPN morons. Not that I'm trying to encourage your habit. But no, it's a disclaimer that they throw up onto the screen saying essentially call your congressman or call your state legislature.
That ain't the reason I'm on this screen. I ain't trying to call him right now. He's a bit of a buzzkill.
Again, what a mess.
Well, watch the crime stats. That's what somebody told me.
Yeah, here, I've found this is what it says when we pull up. This is the most Pornhub, the most popular porn site in the world.
All right.
If you now go to it in Alabama, it says, Dear user, as you may know, your elected officials in Alabama are requiring us to verify your age before allowing you to access our website. While safety and compliance are at the forefront of our mission, giving your ID card every time you want to visit an adult platform is not the most effective solution for protecting our users, and in fact, will put children and your privacy at risk. How does that... Okay, now I'm... Like, how does... verifying your ID put children at risk? I don't.
My guess is you put your ID, and it's my guess, it's the internet. You put your ID out there, somebody's going to hack it one day.
Yeah, but again, how does that hurt the children more?
Let me ask you this. Is she hot?
In addition, mandating age verification without proper enforcement gives platforms the opportunity to choose whether or not to comply. As we've seen in other states, this just drives traffic to sites with far fewer safety measures in place. Very few sites are able to compare to the robust trust and safety measures we currently have in place. To protect children and user privacy, any legislation must be enforced against all platforms offering adult content. The safety of our users is one of our biggest concerns. I don't think it is. We believe that the best and most effective solution for protecting children and adults alike is to identify users by their device and allow access to age-restricted materials and websites based on that ID. Until a real solution is offered, we have made the difficult decision to completely disable access to our website, again, this is Pornhub, in Alabama. Please contact your representatives before it's too late and demand device-based verification solutions that make the internet safer while also respecting your privacy. So you're going to call up Will Barfoot?
Yeah, I might, because I'm getting some pretty good jokes. I might give him some of these jokes. I think he'll get a laugh out of them. Killing jobs, Joey.
Hey, Reed Ingram, we demand device-based verification solutions to make the internet safer and protect our privacy.
Killing jobs.
It's a mess. The country's a mess. The state's a mess.
Huh.
It's just...
I don't even know what to say.
Wow. It's just one of those days where you're like, okay, of all the serious things, this is what some people are complaining about here in the state.
Yeah, I have heard a couple.
Now, I get it. There are a lot of lonely people out there. A lot of lonely dudes, especially.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I've only heard dudes say it.
Yeah. You haven't had any women hit you
No,
up?
I haven't had, no.
Probably because women know how to use the internet.
I need to change my circle of friends.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that. 272-9228. Also, you might have missed it over the weekend. Everybody's watching the Saturday football games.
Yeah.
And Trump getting a huge response there at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Huge response.
But, okay, I heard he was allowed on the field, but I swear I saw a video of him walking on the field.
That's an old one.
Okay, all right.
But did you see when they put him on the Jumbotron, how crazy everybody went? But did you see the cast of characters around him? Of course, there is like in plain view. There's, first Katie Britt.
Katie Britt, yeah. I've seen the classy.
Tommy Tuberville.
Yeah, I've seen the
and then Bob, Kid Rock.
That's the first one I noticed.
The golfer, John Daly.
Daly's hanging with him.
And then Hank Williams Jr. is up there, too.
Right. Now, how many of them went out together that night? Because there's a video out there. I think Bob put it out there explaining the night of fun they had.
Wait. Katie and Coach went out and did something?
No,
I didn't think they'd
it
go
was
do something.
Trump and Bob and the golfer.
Because even when Coach hung out after hours after a GOP dinner, he was behaving himself.
He's a smart man.
Yeah. Right. I'd imagine the senator skipped that.
If they were smart, they would have, because Bob literally came out the next day with a story of what we did last night. Right.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
So as people are all watching that and consumed with football, by the way, Auburn, just kill me. Kill me now. Just stick it in my heart. Just a knife right in my heart.
Perhaps a frozen ice pick.
It was awful. And Hugh Freeze, he's a terrible, on-field coach. Clock management.
Oh, it's just awful.
How do you give your quarterback the leeway in the fourth quarter to call it audible to throw 2 passes in a row? Just run the football.
Run the ball.
Anyway, everybody's focused on that on Saturday.
Yep.
But something else happened.
What happened?
The Department of Justice,
DOJ,
has sued the state of Alabama.
I think I heard something about that.
Why? Because Secretary of State Wes Allen, you know how he removes potentially 3,200 non-citizen voters off voter rolls?
Which I thought was a great idea, by the way.
They said he can't do that.
All right, so
did it too close to Election Day.
I wouldn't care if it's the day before. If you're getting illegals, people that are not allowed to vote.
Yeah, but there are a few folks who are illegal, and it just
Isn't there an alternative ballot when you get there? Like if I go to vote and I'm not on the roll,
right. There's also a process. This was done 84 days ago when he first did this. So and they contacted everybody.
There you go.
Saying,
so they even contacted.
Yes.
So they just want illegals to vote.
Right.
That's what we're fighting for here. I see.
We'll get into that. I break that down because faith, in American institutions across the board, and FEMA ain't helping right now.
Oh, wait do you have to deal with them? Man?
We can't even trust our porn sites anymore. But faith in the election itself?
Yeah.
Fascinating breakdowns. New survey numbers coming.
Oh, boy. I'd like
what
to hear
Republicans and Democrats are concerned about.
Interesting.
272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. Let's do this. Let's hit a break. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
You probably know lots of people you trust to mow your lawn or wash your car. But when it comes to electrical work, you're picky. And you should be. See, electricity is complicated and potentially dangerous. The sad truth is, each year there are thousands of home fires caused by faulty wiring. Crosby Electric has been serving the river region for almost 50 years. Their technicians are held to the highest standards in the profession. To wear the Crosby Electric uniform, you have to undergo background checks, rigorous drug testing, continuous education, and safety training. The technicians at Crosby are specialists. They don't do plumbing. They don't fix air conditioners. They simply provide superior electric service in a safe and timely manner. Don't take chances. When you need electrical work, or if you just like someone to assess your home for safety, call the experts at Crosby Electric, 272-2085, or visit us online at crosbyelectric.com.
You've waited all year, and finally, it's here.
People come from miles around, from the farms and from the towns, to where excitement will be found in the Alabama National Fair.
Join us opening Friday, October 4th, and get in for $1 when you bring a non-perishable food item for the food bank. But the fun doesn't stop there. All rides will only be $1 each. $1 to get in, $1 to ride. That means you can come back a second time and experience all the fair has to offer. Opening weekend also brings you in concert Drew Hill, Saturday night at 7 p.m. Presented by Hyundai Motor Manufacturing of Alabama. Get there early for a great seat. This year's fair has 2 Mondays. That means 2 school days where everybody gets in for only $10. Don't miss it. Dollar Night, Friday night, October the 4th, opening night. And all rides will be $1. Your wait is finally over. Join us at Garrett Coliseum for the great food, the fun, the rides, the agricultural exhibits, and all the free shows.
It's the best 11 days of fall.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-457-6060. That's 1-800-457-6060. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-457-6060. That's 1-800-457-6060.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. Beautiful string of days continues, at least for a while longer. Today, mostly sunny, quite warm for the last day of September with a high temperature up to about 87. Clear, comfortably cool tonight, low in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, October begins. For tomorrow and Thursday, sunshine. Highs in the upper 80s both days. Risk of some spotty showers, perhaps. By Thursday night, a better chance on Friday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
John Bobo with Capital Tractor. Have you heard the news? Capital Tractor will soon be moving to a brand new location in Montgomery. With lots of Kubota inventory, we're going to sell it instead of move it. Our big moving sale is a great time to get a great deal on a Kubota at Capital Tractor in Montgomery.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to the program. Looks like FEMA is sending Starlink satellites to the North Carolina flood zone.
Glad to hear that.
You know, and I want them to respond as quickly as possible. It's just that quote in particular from the administrator, like nobody could have prepared for. It's like, please don't even start hedging. Please stop that.
That's what kills me. They're hedging. Just like with the whole lower your expectations. I can't stand that.
Just get the job done.
Right.
The National Guard there in North Carolina delivering 100,000 pounds food and water.
Oh, man, we got the water from Budweiser one year during Hugo. They brought the water. It tasted like really watered down beer.
And apparently Trump is touring Georgia today in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. Let's go to the phones. Let's talk to Papa B. Papa B.
Oh, my goodness. So they're not keeping the deal about their allegiance to the Constitution. Is that what I'm hearing?
That is it.
Yeah, more and more folks
John
suggesting
Kerry,
that.
the rest of them. So, well, maybe go back to the Thunderdome model. Bust a bill, spin the wheel, whatever it is. Throw them inside the Thunderdome. See if they can survive. This is bad
Yep.
John Kerry outright saying, well, I mean, at least we know now that, that's what they want to do is tear up the Constitution. For all these decades now, they've been getting away with saying, y'all are so silly. We don't want to do that. And now they're just outright admitting it.
Yeah.
And Kamala Harris
really
over the
always
weekend saying, I want a pathway to citizenship.
Yep.
Oh, wait. So all these folks now legally get to vote.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right.
But there is a pathway. They can go back and come back the right way.
Well, that's broken.
Mm-hmm.
There only he could do something about it. Maybe fix it.
Man, I tell you, how nasty these people are. All these years.
The worst.
I mean, you know what I'm talking about. People would say something like that, and they were just like, no. Oh, come on, Papa B. We don't want to tear up the Constitution. No, they actually do.
You're crazy, man.
They sure do.
Yeah, now, well, they're just out in the open about it. At least we don't have to wonder anymore or speculate. It's unbelievable that they would even conceive of such a thing. But yeah, there they go.
Yeah, here's the, for folks who didn't hear it, here's the John Kerry clip.
And I think the dislike of and anguish over social media is just growing and growing and growing. And it's part of our problem, particularly in democracies.
This is, by the way, the great constitutional venue known as the World Economic Forum.
Yeah.
In terms of building consensus around any issue. It's really hard to govern today. You can't, there's the referees we used to have to determine what's a fact and what isn't a fact are kind of, been eviscerated to a certain degree. And people go and people self-select where they go for their news or for their information. And then you just get into a vicious cycle. Mm-hmm. So it's really, really hard, much harder to build consensus today than at any time in the 45, 50 years I've been involved in this. And there's a lot of discussion now about how you curb those entities in order to guarantee that you're going to have, some accountability on facts, et cetera. But look, if people go to only one source and the source they go to is sick and, has an agenda and they're putting out disinformation, our First Amendment stands as a major block to the ability to be able to just, hammer it out of existence. So what we need is to win the ground, win the right to govern by hopefully having, winning enough votes that you're free to be able to implement change.
So, I mean, the source that you go to is sick and putting out disinformation. You mean yourself?
Yeah, you mean the government?
Yep. So you're so you're the one that's putting out disinformation. You're sick, and you're not a qualified source of, information. No. He's talking about the other people. Mm-hmm. Everybody else, he's right, but nobody else is. Right. And probably the reason he can't find consensus is because what he is selling is a lunatic path. Nobody wants to go in that direction.
Well, and also,
he and his peers.
Well, and this idea that we have to build consensus to govern, it sounds innocuous, but I'm like, oh, wait, you don't have to know what's true. You just have to build consensus.
Right.
It doesn't matter what's true. It's just what everybody agrees on.
We all say. Yeah.
It's just like, oh, my goodness.
Exactly.
Yep.
What a mess. I tell you, at any rate, like I said, now we know, and hopefully everybody else will at least, come to that understanding. Look, they'll tear your country up, your Constitution, and that's what their agenda is, so not hidden. Anyway, all right, guys, well, let me get the measure in the house.
Papa B.
It looks like Hopeville is just growing like crazy. I mean, they got houses popping up around here like mushrooms.
Yep. On the lake, too, man.
Amazing.
On the Lake Georgia. I think there's 10 sites right now.
A little while longer. Yeah, I mean, I moved up here. It was still country, and I was like, finally. And now everybody in the brothers moving up here. But anyway. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
See you, Papa B.
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services, and they're at Pest Pro. Ashley and the team are ready to help you with any and all of your pest control needs. Could be you're looking for an everyday pest control company that visits on a regular basis. get to know them, to get to understand you, your property, and your needs. And, well, a lot of folks have done that. Since COVID, they have grown leaps and bounds. And it's because not only are they just easy to work with, they're truly skilled professionals and local folks. Like, it's why they're so easy to work with, I think, at the end of the day. But then maybe you need an emergency job. Could be ants in the kitchen. Could be you want to prepare the yard, get rid of fire ants and all the mosquitoes if you're having a big say get-together, maybe like a wedding shower or something.
I got a text from them this morning, and they're heading out to spray our Airbnb for mosquitoes today.
There you go.
How convenient and easy that is.
It's so easy to get in touch with them. Just call Pest Pro Services at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that team that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. You know, in the midst of all this going on, you think people not be able to get on Pornhub, more people will watch the VP debate? Kind of the same thing.
I don't know what kind of Pornhub you're watching, but I don't think it's like the debate.
Kind of has the same effect.
Buzzkill?
Yes. Let's go to Sam. Hey, Sam.
Well, hey, thank you for taking my call.
What up, Sam?
Not too much. Just fiddling around the old farm and enjoying the show. The thing with Kamala and the VPs, hold on, let me skip that. What I heard, I caught wind of the Alabama porn thing over the weekend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about it, and and I was making some jokes to myself. Stopping porn, that's a crime against humanity. People want it, and I got to thinking about it. It is a $1 billion industry, and I could see this as the start of an expansion. And if government people want the porn, they don't want to pay. Anyway, the VPN, whatever happens to VPN, I could see our elected officials. Or coming from maybe from the federal government. We need VPNs now to cover our porn habits. Yes, the society demands it, and it'll be added right on there with my my other things I get in the program that support my phone. Man, I messed that joke up.
But you
yeah, that was not anything else.
You can still do that. You just have to pay for it yourself.
Anyways, but I'm acting a fool with this a little bit. But I swear, when I heard this, it just made perfect sense. There's a lot of people want it, and next thing you start to hear the demand. Well, we got to cover. People can't afford it, and the VPN. Anyway. That's all I got.
Okay, bud.
Appreciate it, Sam.
Yeah, man, I enjoyed seeing Trump Jr. With Tucker this weekend. That was dang good. But I'll talk to y'all later.
Thanks, man. I wonder if people are really going to call.
Like their representative and be like, I don't like
you're
this.
That person answering the phone, hey, I'm so to have a good day. Hey, yeah, y'all jacking with my porn, messing me up here, stressing me out. Who? Can I get your name? All of a sudden, you give them your neighbor's name. That's what you do.
No, I would say if the state senators, state representatives are listening at all, record those calls.
All right. Do not call state senator.
Because some of them are going to be hilarious.
Oh, there's going to be some good ones.
Let's go to Charles the first. Hey, Charles.
Hey, Joey. Hey, Eddie. Hope y'all doing good.
Doing well. How are you doing, bud?
I'm pretty good today. Thank you, sir. I was calling because you were talking about the election, and we've only got this little bit of time before the election.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you're familiar. Are you familiar with a guy named Mike Podhorzer with the AFL-CIO? He was a political consultant.
I am
you know
not.
Who I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
Well, let me tell you about him.
Okay.
It's from an article that anybody should read. It's called "The Secret Shadow Campaign That Saved the 2020 Election." It's a liberal Time magazine writer named Molly Ball.
I remember this.
Yeah, and in it is Mike Podhorzer. Now, Mike Podhorzer, who's also in the midst of everything right now, from the time he got up in the morning until he went to sleep in the evening before the campaign for probably beginning a year, for the 2020 campaign, was on Zoom with persons in every state that he could do to change the election laws of each state because of COVID. Have you got me there? But that's not all. Hundreds of people were on there, and he organized. And the thing that will really get you is he had it set up so that in the inner cities, if Trump one, there would be terrible things happen. That he even tells you he had to call these people to make sure they knew Biden won. Not kidding you. You can read it. Now, that's what we're facing again right now. Is him, but they're in power. Now, I believe he was even a part of Obama's administration, and I think that Biden's administration even hired him after this or something, okay? But now he is stating that the ultimate thing of their campaign, and this is to know your enemy, is to be extremely negative about MAGA and extremely negative about Trump. Don't worry about trying to make her policies known. Just cram that down the throats from now to the election.
Yep.
So it's good for us to be aware that that's what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And that, in reading that article, you would not even believe the things that they went to, the money that they got, the persons that were involved. It would just make your head spin. But that's what I wanted to bring up. That's what I wanted anybody to know. And also, I have the information for Craig from Friday's show from a very reliable source that can be, looked at on the whole Haitian.
Yeah, just email it to him there at 1819.
Yeah, I will. I sure will. But yeah, anything you want to talk about with that, guys?
No, and I got to hit another break here, Charles. I appreciate the call, man. Good one. Very good call.
Thanks a lot,
Hey,
y'all.
thank you, Charles.
272-9228.
He knows his stuff.
He really does. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, they're ready to help you fellas out, Maybe if you're having some issues in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they can help you with that. I know guys hate going to the doctor, especially when that's the issue.
Right.
But Montgomery Men's Health was created to take care of guys who are going through that.
Mm-hmm.
And generally guys don't want to go to the doctor, but they're discreet there at Montgomery Men's Health. They get the job done quickly, by the way, too.
Right.
And, the reality is pills often quit working. So maybe you need a little extra help there from the doctor. And more generally, beyond just the bedroom, if you're noticing a lack of motivation, a lack of energy, lack of drive, including a massive decrease in your sex drive, you just have no mood, no desire, you're always tired, you feel like you're walking through your life in a fog, knowing whether you have low testosterone is huge in combating some of these issues. Did you know that as you age, a testosterone and PSA check should be part of your annual men's health routine? Well, the providers there at Montgomery Men's Health will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And Montgomery Men's Health has low-T treatments that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym, brother, better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, usually even notice an increased libido. And you can actually book the same day that you call. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your market report. So far this year, over 3,300 homes have sold and closed in the River region with an average price of $260,000. Over 60% of these homes sold in 60 days or less and sold for 98% of list price. So, two forces are at work right now. First, we have more inventory of homes now than we've had in 4 years. Second, we also have the lowest interest rates in 15 months for VA, FHA, and conventional loans, and this helps sellers and buyers. In addition, sellers are more willing to negotiate favorable terms for buyers than I've seen in over 4 years. So the objection from potential sellers, where would we go if we sold our house? Well, now you have more homes to view than we've had in a long, long time. Why wait? For more information or a written report, call Bo Goodson at 221-2883 or the Goodson Group at 551-0225.
Looking for insurance, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your current carrier? How does quality coverage with local service and competitive rates sound to you? The folks at Stark Agency offer just that. Whether you need insurance for your business, car, home, or life, Stark Agency can help. As an independent insurance agency with over 20 of the top insurance carriers, Stark is sure to find the perfect match for you and your loved ones. Visit their site at starkagency.com or give them a call at 334-263-5535 for a quote today.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Rounding out the first hour here of the program. I'm Joey. That guy wearing the pool liner is Eddie Bader.
It's a good pool liner, too.
And we're getting some comments rolling in here.
Are we now?
Yeah, and Kim Baton saying, roll tide. War Eagle. Back at you. I'll still say it. Thought we suck this year. I looked at my grandfather when we were up in the beginning of the fourth quarter and go, what is this feeling called hope? I don't trust it.
I didn't trust it at all.
Yeah, it really, I don't live or die on Saturdays, but that one hurt.
It hurt, but I just, it's right up there.
Mark Cumby says he's all for banning porn, then says, go buy a magazine like folks did back in the old days.
Got time to read those articles.
Playboy had some good interviews, man.
Oh, they did.
The Ayn Rand
Back in the
interview,
day.
the Vince McMahon interview.
Speaking of Mark Cumby, did you know he is the grumpy dog? Like, he ate the most dogs this weekend. He won their...
Oh, congratulations, sir.
I'll send you the picture.
How many did he eat?
I don't remember, but he's got a crown on, and I'm cracking me up when I'm seeing him with crown.
Guess how many?
12.
Man, that's a lot of hot dogs.
If it were... Because I tried one time. 3 is my maximum, and it didn't stay with me.
The Romex Angler's back on the stream asking more philosophical questions.
Oh?
If a mess is bad, then why is a hot mess good? Well, it's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's
There are some girls who try to pull it off like Brat Summer. I'm a hot mess, but I don't think that's...
Brat Summer?
Yeah. Summer's
That
over.
was a thing.
Which?
Brat Summer.
And then Romex Angler puts out there, I quit Pornhub when Joey removed his content. Well, that's just not true. We all know you're still watching.
I'm Joey. I'm disgusting. I make low-budget adult film.
Yeah. He's lying. He's still
Are you
watching.
sure?
He's still watching.
Oh,
yeah.
That's the part. Okay.
Yeah. 272-9228 if you want to get on the conversation. Daniel is on the phone. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, good afternoon, fellas. How are you?
Good.
Good. Listen, real quick like this. The Democratic Party has become, you remember the old saying, he who smelt it dealt it?
Yes.
Yes.
These guys, man, every time they accuse somebody, their opposition of something, you can almost take it to the bank. They are guilty of doing it themselves. Maybe prior to it, I mean, you can start at Russian collusion all the way through election tampering to this nonsense now. So, I mean, that's all I've got to say, and I just need to get it off my chest. Y'all just, we need to wake up in a quick way. Y'all have a great day.
You too, Daniel. I like that. The he who smelt it dealt it rule.
Yep. I remember that rule.
Still apply?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Thank God none of that's happened in this studio.
Oh,
like,
cool.
I really don't care. Like,
Yeah.
But like, if I'm stuck in a car with you for several hours, you better roll down the window, number one.
Probably right.
But we're stuck in this studio for 3 hours.
Mhm.
Like, do not do that.
Starting today.
Like, just don't in general.
Did you? I know you know Mark Norman, comedian.
Yes, I've seen.
Did you see it?
Where he'll just lift his leg in the middle of a conversation.
Okay, most people find it funny. There's this one comedian, I can't think of his name, but he got offended. I mean, like,
I wouldn't get offended.
Literally offended.
I think it is also funny, but it is also gross.
Oh, it's gross. I mean, yeah,
it's just gross.
Grosser if a girl does it.
Depends on the girl.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Like your mom, not your mom in particular, but yeah, it's kind of gross. But like Miss Pat,
yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
What if,
like a big girl,
yeah.
like yeah.
So if you had a hot model in here and squeaker, you ignore it.
Let's go back to the porn conversation. That seems more wholesome. Coming up, we are going to get into, it'll be my op-ed tomorrow for 1819news.com. The DOJ suing Secretary of State of the great state of Alabama, Wes Allen, over his attempt to remove non-citizens off the voter rolls.
How could he not have the people's support with it?
I think he does, but he does not have the Department of Justice's
That doesn't
support.
surprise me, I guess.
Of course. Do you have Verizon?
Yeah.
Did you lose access?
Not that I know of.
So yours stayed up too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's like, Verizon's down. Freaking out about it. But
I've noticed.
And rest in peace, or some say rest in power, Dikembe Mutombo.
Yeah.
Passed away today.
That shot, 58.
Yeah.
That one,
that's, man, and what an icon.
Right.
Like, people have been sharing the highlight reels of the blocks he did over the years, and just get it out of here.
That one surprised me. And I'd honestly forgotten about him, but that kind of surprised me. Seems awfully young. Although a big guy like that, that's kind of how that goes.
Did you also see that because of something Trump said in a speech, the Democrats have reacted on X?
Oh.
And now the terms "the purge" and "crystal knocked" are trending.
Crystal what?
Crystal knocked. Night of broken glass.
Okay.
You know, the Nazi thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you see crystal knocked trending, you're like, what? Why?
Why? Yeah.
Apparently it's because something Trump said.
Wow.
So we'll have to get into that.
Okay.
See what they're talking about. Elon Musk also issues warning this will be the last quote-unquote real election if Trump doesn't win. But he explains it not as like, oh, the military's going to take over and all this. The Pope isn't real. He's been replaced by a body double. All those sorts of theories. No, this is more a pretty straightforward thing from Elon Musk. So we'll get into all that and more after the top of the hour break.
All right.
First, this part of the program brought to you by All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical. Well, we've seen the examples of what can go wrong when the storms roll through, folks.
You ain't kidding, Joey.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
Mm-hmm.
You see the good, people's heroism, rescuing, looking out for one another. But man, if you are without power for days and days on end,
it happens, dude.
It could be a real problem. Now, this is where All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical comes in. Of course, they can, do upkeep on that HVAC system of yours, get it ready for the time of year where you're running the AC and the heater at different parts of the day here in Alabama. But if you really are looking at the news and going, okay, what happens to me if I'm without power for a week or 2 weeks? You need to get a Generac generator installed, and All Pro can do just that for you. Then they have financing with approved credit. It's a great way to keep the power on when the storms roll through.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great way to especially help out folks that are relying on things like medical devices or, keeping the food fresh.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons you want to have that power stay on. Get a Generac generator through All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical. You can do just that. So call them today at 301-1961. That's 301-1961. Or just go to allproheatingair.com and be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside. With SRN News, I'm John Scott. As the death toll from Helene reaches 120, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has told reporters that the federal government should focus on North Carolina. DeSantis said Florida is coping with the situation, and most of the effort should be in western North Carolina right now, as there are still active rescues that need to take place. President Biden plans this week to visit the areas impacted by Hurricane Helene. And more than 90,000 residents in a county east of Atlanta have been told to keep sheltering in place. This comes a day after a chemical plant fire at the biolab plant in Conyers. There were no reports of any injuries. Stocks have turned lower now, the Dow dropping 140 points and the NASDAQ losing 22. This is SRN News.
Hey folks, Donald Trump Jr. here. Let me ask you this. Does inflation feel worse than we're being told in the news? That's because the official inflation rate doesn't tell the whole story. Since January of 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back. But what you can do is stop your losses today. How? By diversifying your savings into a gold IRA from my friends at the Birch Gold Group. When you're done, your money will be parked in a tangible asset with proven history. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word prepare to 989898. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantage status. So text prepare to 989898. That's prepare to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Well, hi, everybody. Beautiful string of days continues, at least for a while longer. Today, mostly sunny, quite warm for the last day of September, with a high temperature up to about 87. Clear, comfortably cool tonight, low in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, October begins. For tomorrow and Thursday, sunshine. Highs in the upper 80s both days. Risk of some spotty showers, perhaps by Thursday night. A better chance on Friday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane, across from Del Rey Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. Alabama Labor Secretary Fitzgerald Washington has announced that he is retiring after holding the position for 10 years. Governor Kay Ivey is appointing her former cabinet member Marty Redden to lead the Department of Labor as it transitions into the newly formed recent state audit. The Alabama Board of Medical Examiners paid a total of $288,000 to 5 former employees under separation agreements, confidential deals the agency had no legal authority to make. The Alabama Attorney General is the only state official with the authority to settle litigation against state agencies. As the death toll continues to rise following Hurricane Helene, Alabama first responders have offered their assistance in North Carolina. The Prattville Fire Department's crew, along with members from 4 other Alabama fire departments, arrived in North Carolina Saturday night to help with search and rescue efforts. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Jessica Pig here with Pig Enterprises. Blue Water Broadcasting has been a major part of our continued growth, connecting us with the right customer base at the right time, helping us to get you behind the wheel of quality pre-owned vehicles for the past 20 years. If you're looking to maximize your advertising potential, Pig Enterprises believes you'll get a squeal of a deal from Blue Water Broadcasting.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers.
For Montgomery's conversational radio show, it's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
You want free speech? Let's see you acknowledge a man whose words make your blood boil, who's standing center stage and advocating at the top of his lungs that which you would spend a lifetime opposing at the top of yours.
I'm a better looking person than Kamala.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. You know, here's a fact that's nothing new, Eddie.
What's that, bro?
Trust in America's major institution continues to decline.
Yes, it does.
It's actually a whole fancy graphical breakdown at Bloomberg.com where they look in the only two still, with their head above water are small business and the military. But like the media is the worst. Congress is in the toilet. The presidency, the Supreme Court, like every major institution, big business, like you could throw out there other than small business and the military, people do not trust it. So that's nothing new.
Nope.
But what of Americans' faith in the upcoming 2024 elections? Only 37% of Americans believe the 2024 elections will be both honest and open to rightful voters, an October 2023 report from the Public Affairs Council showed. The report also revealed an underlying partisan dynamic, with Democrats showing more concern about electoral openness and Republicans showing more concern with electoral honesty. A more recent September 2024 survey by Gallup, this just came out 4 or 5 days ago, shows better overall confidence in the outcome of the 2024 elections, but also finds, quote, a record high 56 percentage point partisan gap, with 84% of Democrats versus 28% of Republicans having faith in the accuracy of the vote. Damn. The Gallup survey also shows divergent partisan concerns regarding election integrity. For example, 74% of Republicans and 43% of independents thought, quote, votes cast by people who by law are not eligible to vote could be a major problem in this year's election, versus only 14% of Democrats. None of these polling numbers should shock anyone who regularly follows American politics, folks. The recent influx of tens of millions of illegal aliens into the United States has understandably made conservatives and independent voters worry about how many non-citizens have in fact been registered to vote in federal elections. The latest polls simply confirm what most politicos already knew. Any politician worth their salt shouldn't be needing polling data to tell them which way the cat is jumping. For instance, I highly doubt Alabama Secretary of State Wes Allen needed to consult public opinion polls before taking steps to further ensure electoral honesty here in the state. Indeed, when Allen removes over 3,200 potential non-citizen voters in August, I suspect he was simply doing his darndest to keep his promises to the people of Alabama.
Correct.
Well, now the feds, through the weaponized Department of Justice, are suing Allen for trying to guarantee election integrity in the state. The feds say he violated the sacred quiet period provision of federal law that prohibits, quote, systematic list maintenance efforts that fall within 90 days of an election. Maybe they have him on a legal technicality. I don't know. Such will be for lawyers in courts that people do not trust to decide as they arbitrate the legal equivalent of missing the forest for the trees. The status quo for voter laws does seem to skew towards openness rather than honesty in elections, i.e. the Democrats' preferred tipping of the scales. And the DOJ is happy to defend this unbalanced status quo, pretending it is a neutral, independent arbiter. Just another sad case of the mythical rule of law at work, folks. That said, Allen did try to work with the federal government. He did try to ensure the integrity of the vote before going it alone.
Right.
Yet he was rebuffed by unelected federal bureaucrats.
Bureaucrats, Joey.
Appearing before the Senate committee, a Senate committee in March, Allen was asked about the issue of verifying voter citizenship by Alabama's own junior Senator Katie Britt. I'm going to read here, quoting Britt. It's a little transcript here. As you know, federal law bans non-citizens from voting in federal elections. That being the case, it's important that states be given the tools that they need to ensure non-citizens are not able to register or vote in our elections. Katie Britt goes on. She says, last year, I introduced the Citizen Ballot Protection Act here in the Senate, and I appreciate all my Republican colleagues on this committee joining me in that effort. Congressman Gary Palmer of Alabama introduced the House version of that bill earlier last summer, and it was voted out of the House Committee on Administration in November. I hope to see both chambers pass this and it become law. The bill is simple. It amends the National Voter Registration Act to allow states to put in place a proof of citizenship requirement for both the federal mail voter registration form and any state mail voter registration form that they might be able to develop. Secretary Allen, Katie Britt asks him, in that vein, can you explain what resources secretaries of state have around the country at their disposal to provide their state or local election officials the ability to verify citizenship when individuals attempt to register to vote? Here's what Secretary of State Wes Allen said back. Thank you for the question. The simple answer is we don't really have anything at our disposal to verify citizenship. Really, when a man or a woman goes in to register to vote and they sign their name, they are attesting that they are telling the truth, that they are a citizen of the country. Just recently, back in December, we asked the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services for a list of non-citizens so we could cross-check our voter file in Alabama. We were denied that list from the federal government. They told us to use the SAVE program, which is the Systematic Alien Verification Entitlement Program database. But the thing is, the SAVE program database does not allow states to verify citizenship through that database. So that's really all we have. We tried. You know, the federal government, the federal courts, have blocked previous efforts by states to verify citizenship. I think it's important now more than ever, especially given what's happening at our southern border. Britt follows up asking, are there any other additional barriers that hinder citizenship verification that you can think of? It sounds like they're significant as it is. Allen responds, there are significant challenges to verifying citizenship. You know, we tried making telephone calls and so forth to federal agencies. That was back in March, that exchange between Senator Britt and Wes Allen.
It's a phone call, Joey.
Well, in the meanwhile, the Citizen Ballot Protection Act has not become law. The federal government has shown no interest in verifying the citizenship of voters.
Of course not.
And in the name of election openness, the feds continue to block efforts by the states to address election honesty. Allen did his constitutional duty and got sued for his trouble. Once again showing that in a nation of laws, it is men who ultimately decide what the law is and may be. What's not to trust?
But it's the same government that swears we don't have a border issue. When how many hundreds of thousands of criminals they openly admitted the other day came in? 429,000?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We don't have a border issue.
No, we don't.
So sue the crap out of them.
We don't have a border issue. Like, what are you talking about, border issue? In fact, we need that. The system is broken, and we need to solve it by, legalizing everybody.
Right.
They create the problem, and then, as I've said for a long time, they'll break your leg.
Yep.
And then hand you a crutch. And then the kicker is try to convince you never knew how to walk normally in the first place. So this was, I think, on Friday that ICE released new data about the border crisis.
Okay.
This is illegal immigration by the numbers under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. 10 million recorded, not unrecorded.
Yeah, right.
10 million recorded illegal entries into the United States. 10 million. 431,000 convicted criminals released to the public. Just shy of 500,000.
How can that be? What's your number one freaking job?
400,000 illegals have flown into the U.S. since January 2023.
You can't get on a plane without an ID, but they can.
320,000 missing migrant children.
Yep. Yep.
Remember when everybody said, oh, that Sound of Freedom thing, that movie, that was hysterical, and,
I called it then, I'll call it now.
Okay. 15,811 illegals convicted of rape have been released into the public.
Not surprised.
It's a lot of rapists.
Yep.
13,099 illegals convicted of homicide have been released into the public.
So they literally emptied out their jails and sent them over here.
Yeah. I mean, these people are just honest folks looking for the American dream. Well, except for the rapists and the murderers. The put together like nearly 30,000 of those. That's a lot of rapists and murderers. Nearly 500,000 people that are criminals, have a criminal record. And don't forget the hundreds of thousands of missing children.
Which that was by design, by the way.
But we just need to, we need to get together and solve the problem.
Don't talk about issues, Joey. We're only going to talk about how bad Trump is.
So seeing those numbers came out on Friday, here's Kamala Harris over the weekend addressing the issue.
And as president, I will work with Congress to create, at long last, a pathway to citizenship for hardworking immigrants who have been here for years. For years. And deserve to have a system that works. As your president, I will protect our nation's sovereignty, secure our border, and work to fix our broken system of immigration.
She used to be a DA, right?
Yep. And Attorney General.
So if I were stealing cars for 30 years, but they finally caught me, could my excuse be, I've been doing it for years? Years. Y'all never cared about it before? Years. It's okay for me now. I've done it so long, it's okay. I'm grandfathered in.
Right. But you just got to know, she actually did a podcast. It's a basketball podcast.
Oh, good Lord. Okay.
And she left this gym there.
Like, don't hear that. Don't hear that. I eat no for breakfast. That's my saying.
Well, I think
I eat no for breakfast.
That's my saying.
What was that?
That's my saying. Well, let's hear that again.
Like, don't hear that. Don't hear that. I eat no for breakfast. That's my...
What's that? Is that guy's laugh? That's worse than Jimmy Carr.
King of the creeper.
Yeah, at least Jimmy Carr's got that up like donkey
Right.
laugh.
Right.
What is that? But what does that even mean? I eat...
Like, don't hear that. Don't hear that. I eat no for breakfast.
She eats alphabet cereal.
That's my saying.
Well, I think, too,
I
we
eat
talked
no
about-
for breakfast.
She eats alphabet cereal.
That's my saying. Oh, and by the way, Hillary Clinton weighed in.
What, 340, 360?
Congratulations. You're the fattest kid in camp. Well, let's, this is, I think, with Margaret Hoover, PBS. This is the old, it's still firing line. Used to be with Bill Buckley. Now it's Margaret Hoover.
She looks not happy.
Liken yourself to Cassandra, the Greek mythological figure who could see the future and the prophecies, but was never believed.
Wait, did you hear that witch laugh?
Yep.
Brief final question. You liken yourself to Cassandra, the Greek mythological figure who could see the future and the prophecies, but was never believed.
Okay, before they keep going, do you know why Cassandra, who was one of, I think, Priam's children in Troy?
Mm-hmm.
So this is like, say, think of the Trojan War.
Yep.
Why she could see the future, but nobody believed her?
Because she was a liar?
Yes! Because she was a lying witch! She claimed Apollo's like, you're really hot, you're like really cool, if you love me, and like, I'll give you the power to see the future.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah. And he gives her the power to see the future. And then she goes back on her promise.
Because she's a liar?
Yeah, a lying witch. Mm-hmm. And so Apollo's like, well, I can't take it away because God's make promises, you got to keep them.
Yep.
So he added to the curse, now nobody will believe you. So when Hillary compares herself to Cassandra, that's pretty accurate, you lying witch, but let's hear her out.
Brief final question. You liken yourself to Cassandra, the Greek mythological figure who could see the future and the prophecies, but was never believed. Putting that Cassandra hat on for the moment, but we're listening. What is something you see happening in the near future that we should be taking more seriously?
Well, I do think that the press needs a consistent the press that's not supporting Trump blatantly, very persistently, the press that's trying to be the press, be objective, be, reporting the facts.
The hell is she smoking?
Oh, she's got the word salad going on.
So they're not going hard enough in the direction she wants. Of course.
Bad, Joey.
They're just being too objective. Well, at least the cat's out of the bag. Let's keep going.
The press needs a consistent narrative about the danger that Trump poses.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, people may still look at the danger and say, I don't care. It doesn't affect me. I'm going to vote for X, Y, or Z. But okay. But at least people need to be woken up and given the facts about what he has done, is saying, and would do. And I anticipate that, you know, something will happen in October, as it always does. You know, the Russians, as I said earlier, are very active in this election.
Wow.
We know the Iranians are active as
They
well.
have death squads.
Chinese uses TikTok, or they certainly did against Biden and for Trump. I think they're a little less pro-Trump right now. So you look at where people get their information, and they get their information largely from social media. And so the campaign is doing the best job it can to combat both domestic and foreign false disinformation. But I anticipate there will be a full court press in October. The digital airwaves will be filled. And why does that matter? Because the press that is pro-Trump anyway, oftentimes stories are put on digitally that then are picked up by, let's say, at Fox and others. And then those stories are stories, so the mainstream press reports on them, and so that story then takes on a life of its own. There will be concerted efforts to distort and pervert Kamala Harris, who she is, what she stands for, what she's done. I mean, look, the crazy story about me running a child trafficking operation out of a basement of a pizzeria, don't laugh. It was a huge story.
And you're still on that crap.
Right.
What a lying witch.
Yes, Joey.
And I think she believes her own BS.
I don't know.
And you're not even a Cassandra. Apollo would never have given you any powers. Because you're ugly, too. Always have been. On the inside and the outside. Speaking of information online, Elon Musk just put this out.
Yeah.
Very few Americans realize that if Trump is not elected, this will be the last election. Far from being a threat to democracy, he is the only way to save it. Let me explain. If even 1 in 20 illegals become citizens per year, something that the Democrats are expediting as fast as humanly possible, that would be about 2 million new legal voters in 4 years. The voting margin in the swing states is often less than 20,000 votes. That means if the quote-unquote Democratic Party succeeds, there will be no more swing states. Moreover, the Biden-Harris administration has been flying quote-unquote asylum seekers who are fast-tracked to citizenship directly into swing states like Pennsylvania, Ohio, Wisconsin, and Arizona. It's a surefire way to win every election. America then becomes a one-party state, and democracy is over. The only elections will be the Democratic Party primaries. It's already happened in California many years ago, following the 1986 amnesty. The only thing holding California back from extreme socialism and suffocating government policies is that people can leave California and still remain in America. Once the whole country is controlled by one party, there will be no escape. Everywhere in America will be like the nightmare that is downtown San Francisco. Wow. See, you could look at the polls. Some polls say, Kamala's got trouble and their internals don't look good in Michigan. And other polls like, Trump needs to step up his game in North Carolina and Georgia and it doesn't look good for... Who knows? Again, I'm in the camp that lying witch Hillary is lying.
Yes.
That the corporate media is lying. And that Republicans are also lying. Now, they lie in a little different way. I'm in the camp that it's brainwashing against brainwashing.
Mm-hmm.
And that half the stuff, if not 3/4, if not 7/8 of what they tell you, they will not do. Because when you think about one-party control, we've already had that going on for a while now. You can just see it now because of these disinformation hubs online. go back to watching CBS and NBC like a good boy and just listen to our very, very true narrative. No. No, thank you. Why don't you do what you say you're going to do, Republicans? We'll see where it goes in November. But the idea that it's the Russians or it's the Chinese or it's the Iranians, no, the American people propagandize themselves more than any foreign country ever could.
Yep.
Give me a break. 272-9228 if you want to get on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. So you excited about the VP debate tomorrow night? No?
I just, I know it's going to happen. I feel like I know what's going to happen.
Well, you don't think Funnel Cake Dad's going to really take it to J.D. Vance, show what a real man is?
No, I don't.
Hey, you kids ever tried a fried Twinkie?
I don't see that happening. But I just sad because I'm going to see one Vance up there beating up an old man.
Mm-hmm.
And I worry that people are going to say, hey, you know, that's kind of unfair, that young guy beating up that old man that way.
Right.
And I
See,
don't
but again, it's not about truth. It's about consensus.
That's my problem.
It's what everybody thinks is true.
That is my problem now.
Right.
When I see that, I know they're lying to me because in their mind, it's okay to lie to you.
Yes. It's not okay. It's like required.
Right. And I just have an issue with that. Just like the things that Kamala said during the debate, of course, never fact checked. Now, after the fact, she has been, and everything she said was proved to be a lie. But it's the fact that we sit in that moment and you and I and others know someone is lying and we have to just sit there and accept it. As I'm getting older, I'm having issues with that.
Yeah, you know how we played last week, the kids being interviewed by CNN?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There's a larger story to that.
I saw that.
Because, you know, Scott Adams, I'm getting it from that guy, he's saying, you know, there's brainwashing every which way coming at you. Propaganda from every which way. But the Democrats' brainwashing is weapons grade. It's sort of intelligence agency, weapons grade propaganda. Whereas Republicans is more commercial grade. It's like if you want to sit and believe every word Sean Hannity says, go ahead. But it's not quite the same thing as, well, the mainstream news told me it was true.
Oh,
that's just Hannity,
Yeah.
the Republican booster.
Right.
But if you're a Republican,
That
you're
guy.
like, well, yeah, I like Hannity. Fair enough. But this has effects downstream. Now, there's a whole other type of brainwashing called like conspiracy theories and like
We have
rabbit
that.
holes you can
Yeah.
go down. Yeah. And those sort of are beasts of their own making. But there are effects. So let's see this whole CNN story about kids and how they view this election.
All right.
Wait, what was that?
Extreme responses.
Wait, so the Democratic kids had the more extreme responses to the questions. These are kids, by the way.
Right.
Children. I'm sorry, I gotta hear that again. 1 second.
Overall, the biggest finding, the children in the study were polarized, with what researchers called more extreme responses from the blue state kids than the red state kids.
Donald Trump, he did bad things. He's like Hitler.
He only wanted to be president so that he can just control everybody.
Trump is supporting January 6th now. I remember that January 6th, it was a bunch of Republicans believing Trump. I feel like they thought Trump was a god. People got arrested. I think one officer died afterwards. That was a big day.
The study found that these Democrat-leaning kids were about 9 times more likely to express negative emotions about Donald Trump than Republican-leaning kids were about Kamala Harris. Why might that be? Psychologist Ashley Landrum has some ideas.
So Donald Trump is a very polarizing figure, and it's very possible that the kids are reacting to their parents reacting to Donald Trump being a very different kind of of political figure than what we've seen before.
Oh, good God. So it's all Trump's fault.
Yeah.
It's not that, no, y'all are caught up in weapons-grade brainwashing, and it's bleeding into your children's minds.
Right.
No, it's all Trump.
100%.
Fools. Complete fools. 272-9228. Hey, has FEMA gotten down to North Carolina yet?
Nope.
Let's hit a break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Clearwater's Property Management. And there at Clearwater's, Reed Waters and the team are ready to help you with tree removal.
That's right, Joey.
So it could be full-on tree removal, whether it's one you're worried about falling on your property, especially hitting the house or, say, the cars in the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be you had one that already fell.
Yeah.
You got to get it off
Had that storm through here.
Like, you don't want that rotting on your property.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Of course, they can also do tree trimming. So trimming back branches that may be overhanging the roof you're worried about, or slapping the side of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Could be line of sight issues, maybe with the driveway. Or then they can also do stump grinding. So if you're tired of that ugly stump, if you're tired of what that stump attracts, got kids in the neighborhood looking for porno mags in it. You know, you watch that too many movies from the 90s, kids. But no, if you're trying to get rid of that stump, of course they can do that for you as well at Clearwater's Property Management. So again, tree removal, tree trimming, and stump grinding. Give Clearwater's and the team a call at 430-0376. That's 430-0376. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Want to take the price of new flooring and tear it in half? You can during Prattville Carpet's biggest sale of the year, going on right now. Save 50% on select luxury vinyl plank and select carpets in stock. Stop into the store to register to win a brand new quartz countertop up to 75 feet until November 20th. No purchase necessary.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
Shop now and save big at PrattvilleCarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A-plus Better Business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, the best quality building materials in the river region for decades. From common builds to special orders and local delivery. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. Beautiful string of days continues, at least for a while longer. Today, mostly sunny, quite warm for the last day of September with a high temperature up to about 87. Clear, comfortably cool tonight, low in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, October begins. For tomorrow and Thursday, sunshine. Highs in the upper 80s both days. Risk of some spotty showers, perhaps. By Thursday night, a better chance on Friday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. Soon we'll be moving to a brand new location in Montgomery. During our big moving sale, get a great deal on a Kubota with 0% APR up to 84 months with approved credit. Now through September 30th, 2024. See Capital Tractor in Montgomery or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1. WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm Joey, that's Eddie.
What's up, Joe?
Well, we got a corporate reporter for CBS asking Trump, is it really, why do you keep insulting her intelligence?
Oh.
You know, Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Let's listen in.
Well, I have to do that. Well, I don't think she's a very bright person. I do feel that. I mean, I think that's right. I think I am a very bright person. And a lot of people say that. I don't think she's a very bright person. And you know what? Our country needs a very smart person. And I don't think she's a very smart person. So I'm not looking to, I don't consider that an insult. That's just a fact.
So, I mean, prove him wrong.
So why do you think the reporter asked Trump that?
Get that response?
Well, yeah, but he said something more than that in a recent speech.
He said something about her being mentally challenged. Did I hear that?
Yeah,
right
he was
this
like
weekend?
quoting Lady Gaga saying she's born this way.
Oh.
Let's
Lady Gaga.
Listen in to the clip.
Joe Biden became mentally impaired. Kamala was born that way.
Oh.
Yeah. She was born that way.
What?
And if you think about it, only a mentally disabled person could have allowed this to happen to our country. Anybody would know this.
Of course, he's referring to so many things, in particular the border. Like those numbers coming from ICE on Friday are just astounding.
Yeah, but you know, they just played it down. Much like they play all this down.
It's absolutely astounding. Now, there is a small story of victory from Texas on the border front.
Oh.
Texas has successfully curtailed cartel presence and criminal activity on an uninhabited border island after declaring it state property last year.
Good.
Fronton Island, located in Starr County and sitting on the Rio Grande, was once a hotspot for cartel activity as part of Operation Lone Star.
Good beer.
Make me think of Spaceballs.
Oh, no. Lone Star beer in Texas.
Mm-hmm. As part of Operation Lone Star, Texas law enforcement cleared it out. Texas Department of Public Safety spokesman Chris Olivares said that due to the combined efforts of the General Land Office, Land Commissioner Don Buckingham, Texas DPS, and the Texas National Guard, human smuggling and other criminal enterprises that once flourished on the island have come to an abrupt halt. The 170-acre island, it's a pretty sizable island.
Yeah.
I was thinking it's more like Goat Island.
Me too. That's what I was thinking.
No, that's 170 acres. I can't do the math. I don't know the math on the land. Like, how much, is that like a mile even?
Yeah, something like that. I could do the math, but
you don't want to?
Not really.
You're just not in the mood?
Not really.
I feel
Got
you.
a little flare up happening back here.
Well, and I think you're also, thinking about business.
Always be closing. Always be closing.
The 170-acre island had been a foothold for the Mexican cartels to carry out their criminal activities, human and drug smuggling, for decades. Texas declared the island to be state property last year. Since then, the Texas National Guard and DPS have been patrolling the plot of land near the city of Roma. A year later, there hasn't been any activity at all on the side of the island.
That's good, though.
Earlier this month, the federal government demanded that Texas return the island to its condition before the state militarized it.
They want them to go get the cartels and bring back the business?
The feds are a criminal organization.
Yes, they are.
The feds are a cartel.
Yes, we do know that feds bring in your drugs.
Gang of thieves writ large. Wow.
How could you, how could your number one job from that federal government not be do no harm?
The
Make things better.
The Biden-Harris administration alleged that Texas was trespassing on federal land while managing the quote-unquote cleanup of the island and facilitating security. In response, Governor Greg Abbott blasted the federal government in a letter. You are either unaware of or indifferent to what those pre-construction conditions were, Abbott wrote. I will not cede state land to transnational criminal cartels smuggling people, weapons, and drugs, nor will I sit idly by as these threats endanger Texas law enforcement and Texas communities. Good for the governor.
Amen. But I wish you would have got on national news and went down there and did all this. And I hate it's grandstanding, but at times like this, that's when you do it.
Yeah. That's insane. And, somebody might have been listening to you, Eddie. Because actually, State Senator, I think it's Chris Elliott, he was on Jeff Poor's show on Friday. And he suggested that Republicans revisit the HB 56 Beeson-Hammond Act of 2011.
Ah, yes, the Beeson.
I think we know the Beeson guy.
I believe we do.
I think he's on that. He hosts that show.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. I think he might know a thing or two about it. But in 2011, the new Republican-controlled legislature struck a major blow against illegal immigration in Alabama by passing the Beeson-Hammond Alabama Taxpayer and Citizen Protection Act. However, after legal challenges and a reluctance by then Attorney General Luther Strange, Big Luther, to defend aspects of the law, the state backed away from enforcing the law. Fresh from a visit to the U.S.-Mexico border, State Senator Chris Elliott, he's from Josephine, Alabama,
lovely area,
says it may be time for the state of Alabama to revisit the law. Elliott told Jeff Poor that changes in the federal judiciary under former President Trump could give the 2011 legislation a fighting chance in court. He said, quote, I think, look, there's much talk about it, the Beeson-Hammond Act of 2011 and how that was, how many times is he going to say, put on ice by the federal courts, right? Well, we've got different federal courts. We've got a different Supreme Court thanks to President Trump, and I think some of those things are worth looking at again. I'm not opposed to looking at some of those restrictions yet again. Yes, the federal courts have ruled it unconstitutional, but that's fine. I think we need to look at seeing if we need to take another swing at that, because nobody can argue that there hasn't been a change in the federal courts.
Right.
And it's certainly the Supreme Court. So people might be listening to you, Eddie.
I just get frustrated when we have folks that won't fight for something they believe in. Like Luther should have fought that tooth and nail. And
I was barely paying attention. I was at Auburn.
I understand. You're living the college life. But it's kind of the reason we're in the situation we're in now. Not because of you, Joey, but because we had some weak-kneed attorney generals.
So that brings me to, do you know who Fran Lebowitz is?
Francis Lebowitz?
No, Fran Lebowitz. She's kind of like, she's a mouthy broad from New York City.
Sounds very familiar.
And she really is kind of the provocateur, but very liberal, very New York.
Wears funny glasses?
Yes.
I bet I knew she was.
She was on Bill Maher. And even Bill Maher's like, whoa. Because I don't think this is the average Democrat's point of view, but it's like Fran just kind of voicing some frustrations. Let's listen in to this together.
The Democrats had elected people. The Supreme Court is completely his.
Now, you can see her, right?
Oh, yes.
The top comment on this post on Twitter is
Frank Lebowitz?
Howard Stern is not aging well.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Let's hear her out.
It's so disgraceful, this court, that it shouldn't even be allowed to be called the Supreme Court. It's an insult to Motown to call it the Supreme Court. So it's not even a court. It's
not even funny.
It's only a court in the sense that the court of Louis XVI was a court. Basically, it's a harem, okay? It's a harem. It's Trump's harem. So I always feel sorry for the three real judges on the court. I know a lot of people have jobs, not me, not you, and you have to go to work every day, and there are people you don't like at work. But can you imagine having to go to work every day? Alito? You have to go to work with Alito, with Kavanaugh? It must be horrible. So what Biden should do, not that you asked, But when they passed that law, the Supreme Court passed that ruling, where they said, you're not the president, you're the king, which is what that ruling is. You can do whatever you want. You can never be, held responsible. I thought, Biden's still the president. No one seems to notice, but
including him.
Biden should dissolve the Supreme Court.
Dissolve the Supreme Court?
Bill Maher's even like, come on, man.
Dude.
Yeah, it's getting a little crazy out there. We're in the middle of that brainwashing operation, and people are saying all sorts of wacky things. Like myself included. We're just all worked up, lathered up.
When I hear stupid stuff like that, you don't hear me call for an end to free speech, so.
Right.
I just go, what a dummy.
Right.
But she has she, whatever she is, she's got every
right
right to be dumb.
She's well known as that's kind of what Fran does.
The dummy? Loud?
No,
obnoxious.
just like the little pithy, like, it's like, it's a court. Like, Louis, like a king's court.
Could be wrong, but looking at her tells me she's got a smell about her.
What?
That hair, all that hair.
What?
Yeah. Nerds stink.
Fair enough. Thank God he's never complained about my stench too much.
No, yours pretty good.
Okay, now you're freaking me out. That's not, it's not what I wanted to hear. Eddie, that's not what I wanted to hear. 272-9228. It really is it's an unhinged time. So I guess the choice we have here is, what lies do we want to believe?
That's the truth. Sadly
you know what I
enough.
mean?
Yeah, but it is.
Because we don't know.
We don't know. And unfortunately, our politicians and leaders know that we've accepted the fact that they lie to us. And apparently we don't have a problem with that anymore.
Happy days are here again. I mean, but speaking of free speech, this will make conspiracy theorists stand up on end. And heck, you don't even have to be a conspiracy theorist to find this creepy.
Oh?
Yeah. Here's Bill Gates talking about artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Let's listen in.
We should have free speech, but if you're inciting violence, if you're causing people...
No. You don't get to do that. We should have free speech, but there's always a big, hairy butt right around the corner with these people. Anyway, let me hear him out.
We should have free speech, but if you're inciting violence, if you're causing people not to take vaccines, where are those boundaries that even the U.S. Should, have rules? And then if you have rules, what is it? Is there some AI that encodes those rules? Because you have billions of activity, and, if you catch it a day later, the harm is done.
This is the same guy who wants to, or has come up with artificial butter.
Didn't they come up with that years ago called margarine?
Actually, they're going to use that to fatten up turkeys, but that didn't work out, so they gave it to humans instead.
Yeah, it's gross.
But no. Yeah, I mean, this is the guy who's changing your food system, who thinks there should be less people in this world.
Hmm.
Of course, it ain't him he's talking about. It's you, me.
Yeah, we need to create an AI program that bans harmful speech. Okay.
I found that speech harmful. So would my AI program ban him?
Yeah. No, I think that's actually the world we're going to, where we're going to have competing AIs. That's the only way I think you actually let the truth bloom, is nobody gets a monopoly on the truth.
You can't. Man cannot be trusted with that. You know that.
Tyrant. Nobody gets that. Not allowed.
No.
And then let people compete. But it'd be better if, you know what would take down the temperature? If you lower the stakes.
Like,
shrink the power of the federal government.
I'm down.
Mm-hmm. But, that's a right-wing thing.
First, we start with the numbers.
Right. Maybe it's a lie that Elon Musk is going to come in if Trump's elected and do the Doge department.
Ooh.
The Department of Government Efficiency. But it's a lie I'm happy to believe for the time being.
Department.
Heck of a lot better than Hillary Clinton's lies or Kamala Harris's lies or the lies of faceless men and women who we don't even know who are controlling this whole machine. So, FEMA visited North Carolina yet? I think they're flying into
coming up
something.
with some excuses right now as we speak.
Well, nobody could have expected flooding like this. They say from the top of
I don't know, though. I got to be honest. when the storm was still out at sea, I read they were hoping it didn't go to the Carolinas because they already had that 20 inches of rain. And,
Right, they're hoping.
Yeah.
They're like,
so nobody, but you're saying nobody saw it coming.
we got to hit a break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you, whether you're looking to buy a home or refinance a home.
That's right. Interest rates have been falling, Joey.
Really?
Yes, they have.
Yeah. It could be you've been waiting on the bubble.
Could be.
Sitting on the fence.
Yep.
And, you might still be sitting on the fence. But why not call up Kim and Madeline today at 567-4223 and let them get to know you and understand, I'm looking at refinancing. They want to send, okay, why? Like, what goals? Are you trying to get rid of credit card debt? You're looking to reinvest in your property? Maybe you're looking to invest in the family, or just you want to go on a big vacation even. Like, it's your value you've built up in your home.
Right.
And they can just talk through it with you. It's really, there's a reason these folks are so trusted, why they're the gold standard when it comes to mortgages here in the area. So call them today, whether you're looking to buy or refinance, especially you fence sitters who've been waiting, I need to downsize. I need to, go ahead, give them a call, 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies like Kim and Madeline. Prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hey, this is Ashley, the owner of Pest Pro Services. Tired of those pesky mosquitoes ruining your outdoor fun? Say goodbye to bites and hello to comfort. Our expert mosquito treatments protect your home and your yard, letting you enjoy every moment. Our treatments are effective, safe, pet, and family friendly. Let us help take back your yard. Call us now to book your appointment at 265-9990 or visit us on the web at ppsriverregion.com. Pest Pro Services. When you want to know, call a pro.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen from Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. How are y'all?
We're doing all right. So, what's the score here on this fine Monday?
21-3.
Oh,
21-3. We went out. We had a customer come and talk to us last week looking for an outdoor TV. He's been all over town looking. He had kind of come to the point that he thought he was just going to buy something kind of cheap so that if it blew up or if it died on him, he wasn't going to have to cry.
Right.
And he came in, he saw this Samsung Terrace model. We had the 65 on the floor. And anyway, he needed a 75. Just so happened we had one. And anyway, we were sending that out today, going to hook it up to his old sound bar that he already had. But anyway, I was just told by one of my installers that helps Michael Jacks that he opted while Michael Jacks was there to get the proper sound bar to go with his television.
Nice.
And, anyway, I wish we could have done it last week so he could have watched the game on it.
What game are you talking about?
He'll be ready for this week.
It's about Auburn's game, that great game Auburn showed out.
Oh, man, they both kicked ass there for a minute.
I was about to
it's like, what happened?
I was about to say, there at Cohen's, y'all are undefeated. I was wondering if you could start coaching Auburn. You got a better record than Hugh Freeze.
Yes.
I think that's going to be a tough call.
At least you'd have a game plan.
But you know what? If we beat Bama one year, then I'd get a big raise, and then they could fire me a year and a half later.
Guaranteed salary for life.
Right.
Yeah, like $50 million.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's not all bad.
I don't think so.
So y'all check out Cohen's today. They're undefeated because of the great products, but also the great service, as you just heard there. You can always go to thinkcohens.com or just stop by the Boulevard. I think that's the best way to work with them. 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery, open 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And be sure to find Michael or one of the team members and say, hey, I heard Michael on the radio with Joey and Eddie.
Hey, one thing, though, we couldn't do it without you. You help make us that way, too.
Well, thank you.
Oh, thanks, Michael.
I appreciate that.
Anyway, I appreciate that. Thank y'all, Joey.
Thank you, Michael.
See you, Michael.
And War Eagle. Yeah. Oh, that was just ripped my heart out. Like, I thought I was over feeling that way about football.
Because they lured you in.
Yeah, they did.
I watched. I was disappointed, but I never got excited. There are a couple plays were very great plays, but I kind of wrote it off as we were.
Yeah, but they left what? Like 14?
Oh, good Lord.
17 points on the board?
At least.
Off the board, yeah.
At least.
Like, what was going on? What was going on with Magoo? The freshman. Magoo. For the time they said his name, I'm like, is this a slapstick cartoon?
No, you just watch him, it was.
How about that call? Like, we'll just run out on the field with the field goal team. Magoo, the freshman, misses, and you think, well, thank God there was 12 men on the field. There's a penalty.
We got a chance. We can nail this.
Get it again. This is your time to shine, kid.
Nope.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss.
Dang. And Alabama did all right.
Yeah, they did.
It was a heck of a game.
It was a great game. That guy, I think it's number 2, and I don't know his name. He's only 17 years old.
Wow.
That's the guy I was telling you, he's in the Matrix, man. He was making catches normal people cannot make. He was just, for Alabama, man, they need to hold on to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, when asked about his performance, he goes, there is no spoon.
And the coach, I was kind of impressed with him, too. DeBoer. But I did see Nick Saban on the sideline. He was getting a little excited. I think he was ready to make some substitutions.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. Apparently he got a king's welcome.
Oh, there's no doubt. I'm sure he did.
And so did Donald Trump.
It, yeah.
Trump got a huge pop. And
did you hear about the banner?
Oh, the
that
Kamala
never happened.
Oh, it didn't happen?
Didn't happen. The weather.
Oh,
supposedly the weather didn't allow it to happen. I know.
That's so.
I hate it, though, because somebody missed out on some employment opportunities.
Right. Well, how about this? Let's hit our top of the hour break. We got one more hour to go here.
All right.
Y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. At least 120 people in 6 states killed as the death toll from Helene has climbed, and a clearer picture emerged of the devastation stretching from Florida's Gulf Coast to the Appalachian Mountains in Virginia. President Biden says the federal government will be working with the survivors and others affected by Helene for as long as it takes. California residents near a wildfire that is largely contained have been ordered to evacuate. That's after the blaze in San Bernardino County flared up. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department told residents of Seven Oaks to leave that community ahead of a surge in the line fire. On Wall Street, stocks are up and down, and right now the Dow is off 348 points, the NASDAQ 100 points in the red. This is SRN News.
Hey folks, Donald Trump Jr. here. Let me ask you this. Does inflation feel worse than we're being told in the news? That's because the official inflation rate doesn't tell the whole story. Since January of 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back. But what you can do is stop your losses today. How? By diversifying your savings into a gold IRA from my friends at the Birch Gold Group. When you're done, your money will be parked in a tangible asset with proven history. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PREPARE to 989898. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantage status. So text PREPARE to 989898. That's PREPARE to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. Beautiful string of days continues, at least for a while longer. Today, mostly sunny, quite warm for the last day of September, with a high temperature up to about 87. Clear, comfortably cool tonight, low in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, October begins. For tomorrow and Thursday, sunshine. Highs in the upper 80s both days. Risk of some spotty showers, perhaps. By Thursday night, a better chance on Friday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Thank you for voting ASC Credit Union, the best credit union in the River Region 6 years in a row. As we celebrate our 70th anniversary, we are proud to be at the top of the list for the best credit union in the hearts of the communities we serve.
1819 News.
Two U.S. congressmen who represent Alabama are now looking into the use of small modular reactors to create nuclear energy at the Belafonte plant in Jackson County. Congressman Robert Adderholt and Dale Strong are now offering legislation that would amend the Energy Policy Act of 2005. That amendment would require the U.S. Department of Energy to construct 2 operational small or micro reactors at the Belafonte plant. Congressman Strong says that North Alabama has seen tremendous growth and expansion, and he is seeking to ensure that there is enough energy being created to fuel North Alabama residents and businesses. Adderholt believes that the nation's energy policy must be committed to providing energy across the nation, and that smaller reactors are safer and more cost-effective and can be deployed into diverse settings. The Belafonte nuclear plant has been inactive for 36 years. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
90,000 residents living on the east side of Atlanta, Georgia, are now sheltering in place after a chemical plant fire erupted on Sunday. Businesses were told to stay closed today due to the air quality. Residents who live closer to the biolab in Conyers have been evacuated. The Alabama Law Enforcement Agency is investigating a hit and run in Lawrence County that left one man dead. 31-year-old Matthew Kelly was found in the roadway after being hit by a vehicle that left the scene. The hit and run took place 10 miles east of Moulton. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Is it a Fugazi? You know what Fugazi is?
Fugazi. It's a fake.
Yeah, Fugazi. It's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust. It doesn't exist. It's never landed. It is no matter. It's not on the elemental chart. It's not real. Right?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. You know, that guy there said about the free speech. That was Tim Walz.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm. And, the debate tomorrow night, that should be something, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's this guy on CNN who keeps dropping bombs named Scott Jennings. They've treated him as like the House Republican.
Mm-hmm.
And, but he's getting a little,
getting mouthy?
A little mouthy.
Uh-oh. They don't like that over there.
Let's listen in. This is him taking on Tim Walz.
That you can vote for this ticket, so he's incredibly consequential to Kamala Harris.
I heard a chortle from your friend, Scott Jennings over here.
I'm sorry. What you expect, Scott?
What are you chortling about?
Oh, well, first of all, I don't find him to be consequential. Second of all, Walz is a buffoon. I'm sorry. This guy, he's the only school teacher in America who brags that none of his students can get into an Ivy League school. He's had one consequential press interaction with our Dana Bash, who asked him about the fabrications in his own resume, and his answer was essentially, me no understand words good. I mean, he's a buffoon. he's on a free ride for running under Harris. He gets very little press. They don't let him talk to the press for a reason. I want one thing out of this debate. I want J.D. Vance to go out there and get under his skin. He has legendary hot, short temper. A lot of governors do, but apparently he does. I want J.D. Vance to go out there and have him explain why he is denigrating J.D. Vance's story. Small town America ends up making something better out of his life, which is something we should want for every kid.
That was pretty good.
I love he said the fact that he's the only school teacher in America that brags. Yeah. None of his kids would ever get into an Ivy League.
I know.
Can we hire him?
It's just bizarre. Now let's go to another CNN clip, but this is actually the nerds talking about polling.
Oh.
And this is something to do with historic union support for Dems faces a potential shift in 2024.
Yep.
Talked about this last week.
Mm-hmm.
Jump off the screen should set off sirens. All right, this is union households. This is Democratic margin in presidential election. It ain't what it used to be. You go back to 1992, Bill Clinton won that union vote by 30 points. Hillary Clinton only won it by 12 points back in 2016. That was the lowest mark for a Democrat since 1984, Mondale versus Reagan. But look at where Kamala Harris is today. She's only leading by 9 points. That would be the worst Democratic performance in a generation. 10 points off the mark of Joe Biden, who, of course, won 4 years ago, was sort of that union guy, Union Joe, right? Won it by 19 points. She's 10 points off his mark, and the worst in a generation, if this, in fact, holds, Sarah.
It is interesting to note that the difference between this, and Biden still won.
Still won.
But those numbers are significantly down. All right, talk to me about manual labor, those folks who went to trade schools.
Yeah, those folks who use their hands. I think a lot of people oftentimes conflate the union vote with those who use their hands. Mike Rowe, of course, has been arguing more people should go to trade schools, more people should get a vocational degree. Look at this margin. This, to me, oh boy, does this tell you about the state of our politics now versus back in the early 1990s. Margin among vocational and trade school grads in pre-election polling. Bill Clinton was leading that vote over George H.W. Bush by 7 points. Look at where Donald Trump is today over Kamala Harris, a 31-point advantage. When I think people think of the working class, they think of people who use their hands. And we know that Donald Trump has been going after that vote, and he is in a very, very strong position, more so perhaps than any other bloc. The folks who go to trade school, vocational school, that has moved from being a core Democratic group to now being a core group of Donald Trump's massive amount of support among
31%. Damn. And we've got more. This is now Meet the Press and Steve Kornacki talking about Trump getting historic levels of Latino support.
Polling this morning. I'm joined by national political correspondent Steve Kornacki to take us through the new NBC News Telemundo CNBC poll of Latino voters. Steve, break down these numbers for us.
Yeah, Kristen, some interesting stuff here. Again, we see every 4 years the Latino vote becomes a bigger and bigger share of the overall electorate. Well, among Latinos, our poll shows Kamala Harris leading Donald Trump 54 to 40%. Now, for some context, this is a little bit better for Democrats than they were doing among Hispanics when Joe Biden was their candidate. But I think the bigger story here is historically, 54 to 40 now is a 14-point advantage for the Democrats. Take a look back at the last three presidential elections, and these were the results in the exit polls among Hispanic voters. That 14, look at that cut there, almost 20 points less.
Yeah, for folks who are just listening, right now the Democrats only have a 14-point lead.
Right.
With Hispanic voters. In 2020, they had a 33-point lead. In 2016, they had a 38-point lead.
Oh, wow.
In 2012, they had a 44-point lead.
I think I see a trend, Joey.
So, yeah. You know, it's almost like people are waking up to things going on in this world. Like they're not trusting the same sources anymore. You know, that might be something. Now, I mentioned earlier that, in particular, Democrats online were hysterical over a Trump speech. Yeah, it is, again, to reiterate, when you wake up in the morning and you see what's trending online, especially on the X, on Twitter X, you go, wait, Crystal knocked?
Right.
I saw The Purge before that, and I'm like, people watching the movie again or something?
That's what I thought when you brought that up.
Yeah, did they come up with a sequel
Yeah.
or another one? I never actually have seen those. I know what it is, but I've never watched those movies, I don't think.
Seen part of The Purge.
Then you see Crystal knocked, and you're like, why is
right?
It's today the anniversary or something? Like, no. It's because Trump said this at one of his speeches. It's a bit of a stretch. But, you know, again, people hear what they want to hear. That's the world we live in. Truth doesn't matter. People just hear what they want to hear. It's all about perception and consensus, right? It's funny what democracy has done to our minds and our values. Let's listen in.
But they have to be taught. Now, if you had one really violent day, like a guy like Mike Kelly, put him in charge, Congressman Kelly, put him in charge for one day. But they
and he went on to say the violent day thing again. He was talking about people looting.
Right.
Like just going and doing stores, and if you say release the police to punish that one violent day, you wouldn't have it anymore. So you're comparing the destruction of Jewish businesses in Nazi Germany, to police using force against folks who are looting.
These are people that don't know their history, but they also know their constituents don't know it either.
That's nuts. Absolutely nuts. But that is the world we live in, Eddie.
Yep. Unfortunately, you're right.
And it's, there are moments where I'm like, what are the police for? And you see, like, especially these massive, like, riots and stuff like that. Like, isn't that exactly why you need police? Moments like that?
That's when you need them the most. But you really need them to prevent that from happening. I never thought of the police as reactionary. I kind of like them there beforehand. I know that that's the world we don't live in anymore.
Right.
But I kind of like the cops to know there's going to be a riot. Okay, we'll go there beforehand and kind of try
block
to keep
it
that
off
from happening.
and try to keep it. Yeah. Now we just got to stand back.
I'm not down with that.
Yeah, just stand back.
You got to maintain some type of civil society, or I mean, look where we're going. Things are only getting worse. It's not like we're going the other direction. Oh, Joey, we're doing all this correcting. We're not. Or, oh, Joey, we're doing all this slipping.
Right. Now, 1819 News did a write-up on, when Trump got the big pop at the Bama game. Again, ABC wouldn't show it.
Okay.
Because according to Hillary, they're so objective.
I was still upset the SEC wouldn't let him on the field. That bothered me, man.
Mm-hmm.
That bothers me. They say it was a distraction.
Craig Monger reporting that.
I just, that That really bothers me.
That became a national story.
I hope it did. And I hope there are some people there having to answer some questions, and basically it sets them up for not being there much longer.
I mean, if you weigh it out, they're like, they didn't want Trump to have that photo op moment. But then also, there have been 2 assassination attempts.
Thank you.
This place is packed to the gills with people.
With how many? Everybody's check coming in. I mean,
right. But they also said they would have, I think the excuse was they would have to clear the tunnels, and they didn't want to have to do that.
You said it right.
Yeah.
Excuse.
Yeah. But eventually, people were in the crowd, and they did notice, like, this, like, they saw Trump on the Jumbotron. Crowd goes nuts. And right next to Trump, Senator Katie Britt.
Good.
The next day, she appeared on Fox News.
Oh?
And she had plenty to talk about. Let's listen into it a little bit.
Alabama Republican Senator Katie Britt. Welcome back to Fox News Sunday.
Thank you so much, Shannon. I appreciate you having me.
All right, quite a game last night. And I do have a niece at Alabama, so at the risk of alienating a lot of people, roll tide. But wow, that was quite a game.
Hey, roll tide.
I mean, President Trump was
Between
there.
President Trump's visit, yes, he was there. It was just incredible. And then obviously, I think this game will go down as one of the best college football games ever played. And I think Tuscaloosa is still reverberating this morning. And you should have heard it when they announced President Trump. I think the cheers are something that likely registered on the Richter scale. So it was just an exciting night all the way around.
Wait. Like one of the best games ever played? I mean, come on.
As much as I really wanted to take away.
I mean, I get it. You're watching the game in a box with Kid Rock, Hank Williams Jr., John Daly, and President Trump.
Game. It was a great game. Alabama came out just dominating.
Yeah.
To the point of even me was like, all right, it's halftime. I'm going to check out something else. Georgia comes back. I mean, slowly at first, and then at the end, how exciting
One of the
it was.
greatest games ever?
Greatest game I've seen this year. I'll go that far for sure.
That's fair.
I'll say that for
I think
sure.
that's fair.
And it probably would be greatest game ever if I was an Alabama fan, but I'm not.
You know
So
what
that kinda
game
holds
was
me
better?
back. What's that?
Kick six.
Heck yeah, that was great. In fact, I told you Portnoy and them went there. They went to that area on the wall and they said, "This is where he went, pit 6." Yeah, they got a picture right there. Right.
Anyway, we'll let Senator Britt finish. I'm sorry, I had to quibble with her there a little bit.
Then roll tide.
Well, listen, I did see the game last night, obviously, and
Rory.
the reception that he got. He's polling well in Alabama, but our polling
Yeah,
shows
no
that
kidding.
in Georgia, he's got a little bit of a problem. There he is down by 3 points to the vice president. And part of that is a gender gap with women who say they do not trust you or him, the GOP, on issues of abortion or IVF. This week, Ohio Senate candidate Bernie Moreno adding fuel to that fire with some comments he made there. Why is this messaging on that issue in particular not working? How can the GOP, is it possible to fix it? Because women just don't trust you guys on that one.
Look, we are going to continue, I think, to be able to grow in the polls here. And as we're able to talk about these issues and get our message out to voters, they'll see where President Trump stands on this. Look, there's been no stronger supporter of IVF than President Trump. If you think about the situation that occurred in Alabama, President Trump came out immediately and said that he strongly supported IVF and he encouraged the Alabama legislature to act. They acted within 6 days of that, Shannon, and our Republican legislature and our Republican governor signed IVF protection into law. We've continued to talk about this. Senator Ted Cruz and I led a letter with all 49 Republican senators signing on, saying they strongly support nationwide access to IVF. And the truth is, Democrats continue to use this issue as a scare tactic because IVF is legal and accessible in all 50 states. And President Trump has made it perfectly clear that he'll continue to make sure that that's the case.
So you voted against a measure, though, that was offered up by Democrats on IVF. And
Yeah, it's the usual crap.
Yeah.
But, and we could let her finish on that. But again, the IVF thing, you pick whatever you want to, you pick the information stream you want.
Right.
And you're going to believe that till kingdom come. And there's always a bit of truth to it. Again, the best propaganda is the most true stuff. Seriously. But then, second to that is stuff that's partially true, right?
A little bit.
And you just spin it to, a certain angle.
Yep.
So yes, there are many people on the right, say if you're like following the teachings of the Catholic Church, that say IVF should not be allowed. You're playing God. You're destroying human embryos and lives.
Yep.
And there are a lot of people in the Republican world and conservative world, probably better stated, that think it is tantamount to destroying life, human life. That it is, not just tantamount, it is destroying human life. Now, the Republican Party here in Alabama, in a state where I'm pretty sure a lot of people believe that, they, to Senator Britt's point, moved pretty quickly on this after the courts ruled.
I thought so.
And Trump has been pretty unequivocal about that. But again, there are people on the right. This is why they keep bringing up Project 2025. They don't have to actually address Trump and the narrative he's building.
Right.
They build their own narrative by taking something from the Heritage Foundation.
And they attach it to him.
And they put it to him.
Yep, they sure did. And won't let up. Won't let
and
up.
They're going to do the same thing with IVF. Keep doing it. But, Shannon Bream pressing Senator Britt here, but you voted against it. What do you think this is? It was like a show vote sort of thing? Like they do all the time?
Yep.
Yeah, let's listen in.
In the Senate there, and they continue to point to that to say Republicans aren't supportive of protecting IVF. Why did you vote no?
So, Shannon, I'm so glad you brought this up. This is politics at its worst. If you think about what Chuck Schumer is doing, instead of putting funding bills on the floor that are so critically important to actually doing our job for the American people, of which he put none on the floor, instead of putting the National Defense Authorization Act on the floor so that our servicemen and women can be the best trained, equipped, and ready across the planet, instead of putting the Farm Bill on the floor, which we do every 5 years, and our farmers are hurting. You can talk to any farmer in any corner of this country, and they say it is challenging to make ends meet, and we know food security is national security. Instead of putting any of those bills on the floor, Shannon, he chose to put an IVF bill on the floor for a show vote. That bill extended into human cloning. That bill did not protect religious freedom.
Oh, hold on. She's talking quickly. That bill extended into human cloning?
Yes, that's what I heard, Joe.
My body, my choice. Well, we just copied your body, and we own it as a proprietary thing.
Right now.
Wow. Extended to human cloning. The heck does that mean?
Means you got to pass the bill before we read it. And that's why.
Or maybe it's like we could go, give some stem cells or something, and they could have a backup liver for each of us. Like that's Joey and Eddie's.
I used to think like
backup liver, backup kidneys.
I used to think like that. I used to think that was a decent idea. And then I realized our government would sell it. And then bill me for storage until I needed it.
But just give me a dividend. How many of my you're growing kidneys based on my cells? You give me a cut.
I am unvaccinated. I do got the good stuff. Just saying.
Yeah, but then these things are going to get surgically installed into people. They're going to get the fight that's in you.
Well, before you know it, you're just being kept alive to harvest organs out of it.
Why are all these people now? Millions of Americans are now drinking Busch Light that weren't before. It's it's the Eddie Bader organ factory.
You can tell where he got his organ from.
They're wearing Crocs too, and pool lighters as shirts.
Styling people.
They keep quoting Glenn Ross. What is this?
It's good people. That's what that is, Joey.
Let the senator keep going.
Bipartisan issue of something we do,
religious freedom. Yeah.
This time they chose to rip that out. I have been there has been probably no more vocal supporter outside of President Trump than myself when it comes to making sure we have nationwide access to IVF. You have to get to 60 votes in the United States Senate. Not one member of the Democratic Party came over to try to garner enough votes for 60. It was simply a show vote. It was never intended to pass. He would not allow us to have time for amendments or anything else. So it's just Schumer's summer of scare tactics that he has moved into the fall of fear-mongering. I think it's despicable because he is stoking fear that should not exist and unfortunately playing politics, and the American people lose when Chuck Schumer's in charge.
Now, folks, that's branding right there. Schumer's summer of scare tactics has now gone into a fall of fear-mongering.
Yeah.
I like that.
You like it?
It's good branding.
Got away with words there.
All these fights in the Congress. I genuinely have gotten to know these people a little bit. Not like I'm best friends with them or anything. But you get to know them, you interview them enough. and kind of how they go about things. And so I genuinely like most of them. I don't think me and Mike Rogers are going to be buddies anytime soon, but
give him a chance.
Right. But I find so much of the congressional stuff
just fake.
Fake, yes.
Just fake.
And it's not like they're fake. I think they're actually fighting half the time for this stuff, but they know as they're doing the fighting that it's not going to go anywhere. Sort of the hold me back. Hold me back,
Somebody
Eddie.
please hold me back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, no, their real excuses. They did hold me back. I was ready to go. Rip his face off, and then they just held me back.
But who's they? Who's they that held you back?
I would say because there is an anti-Semitism problem out there.
Yes,
so,
there is.
I would say they, in this situation, would be sort of your legal staffers, your legislative staffers, the lobbyists who write most of the bills, and essentially the donor class that controls committee chairs of the Congress, and essentially has created this system where we have one big vote, an omnibus, where everything is passed all at once.
Yeah.
And we don't get back to regular order. The they is sort of this Byzantine network of these lobbyists and donors.
The boss.
That, control everything.
The bosses.
Oh, and then don't get me started on the interagency process, like the parts of the executive branch that really don't want to see changes.
Yep.
And like, don't you love stuff that we fund that the public can't see?
No, Joe, I'm not a big fan of that.
Why not? We need secrecy to do all sorts of stuff and kill people and win wars.
You know, there's a lot of stuff that we're funding that we could probably see, but we're just too stupid to go look for it. All our money's disappearing, man.
By the way, folks, we call this riffing. I'm playing the clips and we're just riffing off of it. Because, we got some more stories coming up. Like, did you see this headline from Craig Monger came out today?
No, I didn't see Craig.
City of Montgomery demands $6,000 to access public records on Mayor Stephen Reed's spending, travel, and contracts.
$6,000?
Yeah, we'll read the story in a little bit.
$6,000?
$6,000. It's going to be like $1.50 a page and labor costs. It takes a lot of work to print stuff off.
They're already working down there.
Like, go find those files, print it off. That takes a lot of work. That's you got to put your back into it.
That's called the job. You know, in real estate, if I'm selling your house, I'm selling your house. I don't get to pick and choose what part of it I'm selling, the good, the bad, the ugly. My job is the whole thing.
272-9228. Let's keep going with Senator Brady.
Well, DNC Chair Jamie Harrison feels good about where they are. Obviously, the Senate is in play as well. Republicans are hoping to flip it. But he says he's feeling bullish on places like Montana, Ohio. He says even Florida and Texas and Missouri. Is it possible that Republicans are overconfident? Is this possibly another midterm 2022 when that red wave did not materialize the way that you all had hoped? Because Democrats say when it comes to this issue of abortion, which is on a lot of state ballots as well, they feel like it's going to put them over the top, and they're going to maintain control of the Senate.
Look, I was actually with Steve Daines last night, who is the chair of the NRSC, senator there from Montana. He is working diligently to ensure that we make sure that we take back the Senate. And of course, we hope to do that in a big fashion. But he is being diligent in every single sector. We're taking nothing for granted. Even in places where we're ahead, we are working like we are 5 points behind. Because, Shannon, we believe that the future of our country depends on it. When you see Chuck Schumer saying and Kamala Harris saying they will break the filibuster to do radical things, and whether it's take gas powered cars off of the road, whether it is banning fracking, when we know that we not only need to be energy independent, we need to return to the energy dominance of President Trump. When we look at our border, we know what's at stake. Look, President Trump had the most secure border of all time. And now we look at what we have under Vice President Kamala Harris's borders are. We have over 425,000 convicted criminals on the non-detained docket for ICE. Look, I ran these numbers last year. They're up over 1.5 million from the numbers we had last year on the non-detained docket. Of that, we know, to your earlier point when you opened this show, 13,000 convicted murderers. Do you understand that? Convicted murderers roaming our streets. We have 16,000 convicted, people that are convicted of sexual assault.
Rapists.
Our country is not stronger. It is not safer. We've heard already on the show, literally the world is on fire. Under President Trump, we actually got to see what peace through strength meant. Putin never invaded Ukraine under President Trump. We see the Middle East. President Trump was able to institute the Abraham Accords, moving the embassy to Jerusalem. There has been no more pro-Israel president than President Trump. The world was a more stable place. Our border was more secure. Our dollar went further. And ultimately, as women look at the next generation, and they want to leave this country better for their children. And when you watch this debate on Tuesday night, and you see Tim Walz be asked the question, are we better off than we are 4 years ago? He, just like Kamala Harris, will not be able to answer that question.
All right. We got to hit break.
All right.
It's going to be a heck of a month before this election, man. It'll be a heck of a month because October 1st tomorrow, right?
It is tomorrow.
Y'all stay tuned. We'll come back with the city of Montgomery demands $6,000 to access public records on Mayor Stephen Reed.
PDF much?
See what that's about.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hi there, I'm Madeline Cannon with Alabama Home Mortgage. Getting pre-approved is the first step towards home ownership. People are often scared or nervous about taking that first step, but I'll tell you, it's nothing to be scared of. At Alabama Home Mortgage, we will take the first step and every step along the way with you. Call us at 567-4223. We will gather the information needed to tell you exactly what you qualify for. After a call to Alabama Home Mortgage, you will know what price point to shop for, what down payment is required, if any, and what your monthly mortgage payment will look like. We take all the guessing out of it. Then, when you find the house you want to make your home, you are ready to make an offer. Along with your offer, you will submit your Alabama Home Mortgage pre-approval letter. This shows sellers that you've already taken the steps necessary to ensure that you qualify to purchase their home. Wait no longer. It's time to take that first step together. Call me at 567-4223 or start the process online at myalabamahomemortgage.com.
That's Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, in stock specials on waterproof 20 mil wear layer luxury vinyl plank and blowout prices. H&H Carpets for all your flooring needs.
Well, hi, everybody. Just a few hours left in the month of September, and the weather news is good. Clear and comfortably cool tonight, low in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, as October begins, sunshine for tomorrow and Thursday with highs in the upper 80s both days. Risk of spotty showers holding off till about Thursday night, more likely on Friday. We'll also be watching the Gulf of Mexico once again. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
We're redesigning financial freedom at CB&S Bank. Make purchases at participating stores and restaurants using your CB&S Bank debit card through your mobile devices with Mobile Wallet. Charges and fees may apply for your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for more information. Member FDIC.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Just an inside sort of bit of information. This whole show, oh yeah, Yeah, Friends has been on the TV.
Mm-hmm.
And watched this in a while, and the one that just finished was when Chandler's in a box. And it's kind of tough to watch this show knowing what happened at the end with Matthew Perry there.
Yeah, a little bit. Happens to everybody, Joey.
Though we just saw the line of, wait, you didn't read Lord of the Rings in high school? And Tribbiani responded, no, I had sex in high school.
Right. No, I just been watching all the Jennifer Aniston hairstyles.
Yeah.
That's right.
I guess they're doing a marathon or something on TBS. Who put it on TBS?
It wasn't me.
Wasn't me. I mean, it's not bad. It's better than politics. And
Oh, no,
Fox
I'm
News
not
up
complaining
there.
at all.
It's like, oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah.
But it's not the same knowing that Matthew Perry is no longer with us. And then Courtney Cox.
Dude, I saw a picture of her. I know she's fighting the aging thing, but it's whatever she's doing, she needs to just let it go. Let natural age take over.
You ever see that, not the spinoff, Joey, which is terrible, but the one, it was an HBO show called Episodes, where it's like Matt LeBlanc playing Matt LeBlanc.
Oh, yes, I did.
The first season was freaking hilarious.
I thought it wasn't bad. And he came out on the regular TV with a show for a little while, too. It wasn't half bad.
But, you know, those guys are rich as sin now, but sometimes it's more of a curse than a blessing.
Yeah.
You got other demons. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, you ain't kidding there.
Yeah, we're seeing Matthew Perry on the TV right now. Ketamine, really? Anyway, so the headline reads: City of Montgomery demands $6,000 to access public records on Mayor Stephen Reed's spending travel contracts. This is written up by Craig Munger, 1819news.com.
I like that guy.
Craig writes, after months of email exchanges requesting access to public records, the city of Montgomery is demanding $6,000 from 1819 News for an open records request regarding Mayor Stephen Reed and his staff's travel and spending. In July, 1819 News requested relevant information from the city, including the mayor's calendar and out-of-town travel and spending. The city denied the request, stating the reasons given by 1819 News to access the records did, quote, not meet the requirement to establish you have a direct legitimate interest in the document sought, end quote. Even though the law strongly favors the right of the public to have access to these records without the need to provide such justifications. The state's public records laws are clear under the Open Records Act of 1975. This is AL Code 361240. It states, quote, every citizen has a right to inspect and take a copy of any public writing of this state, except as otherwise expressly prohibited by statute. Alabama law does not require a citizen of Alabama to justify accessing public records. Therefore, any requirements from a city employee are, by definition, arbitrary. After several back and forth emails, the city's records manager said the legal team advised him of case law he believed to be relevant.
Sue him.
The case reference was Blankenship v. Hoover. In that case, the plaintiffs rejected outright to fill out any reason for requesting records from the Hoover financial director. The plaintiffs were also requesting access to city employees' W-2s. Notably, the plaintiffs in the Hoover case were not members of the press. Yeah, that's a big ass wanting personal W-2.
W-2s, I get. Yeah.
The Alabama Supreme Court ruled in favor of Hoover since there was no, quote, evidence to show that the request form allowed the finance director the power to hinder access or refuse disclosure based on perceived necessity or establish office policy. However, the courts also established that a government entity has the burden of proving that an individual has no legitimate interest in obtaining documents. Despite the city's spurious request for clarification, 1819 News refiled its request in good faith, this time giving the reasons enumerated by the courts. This allows public entities to require a simple statement saying the records are sought to understand how public money is being used. However, the city denied the second request, this time citing an 1882 ruling nearly a century before the passing of the Alabama Open Records Act. After further clarification, the city partially relented, still refusing to grant access to copies of any expenditures Reed made in the course of his official travel and previous events Reed attended in his official capacity. Once again, to avoid litigation, 1819 News submitted yet another records request, this time removing the item contested by the city. Reed has been in the public eye more than usual in recent months. The recent surge in violent crime led Reed to petition the city council for $6 million in annual funding for a community violence intervention initiative from an organization called Live Free. However, the Live Free website lists Montgomery as already having implemented the proposed program.
Oh.
During several dramatic city events, including a mass shooting that injured 13, Reed wasn't even in the state. Those critical of his leadership in these prolonged trips have noted Reed's absences from the city. Most recently, Reed went on some national television programs defending current President Joe Biden and shilling for Vice President Kamala Harris as the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee. Reed's out-of-state travel is a mystery. The city declined to share any planned out-of-town engagements or an official calendar, claiming the mayor didn't keep an official calendar. Quote, "The mayor does not maintain an official calendar created for the use by the city of Montgomery," the city's records retention manager said in an email. "The mayor's calendar is created for his personal convenience and the convenience of his employees, not for an official city purpose."
You can't oversee me. I'm the boss. That's what he's saying.
Wait, but if it's for the convenience of employees, wouldn't the employees are part of the official city purposes?
I'm the boss. Why are you asking questions, boy?
The primary purpose of his calendar is to organize both his personal and business appointments. This calendar is not shared outside his office and does not constitute a public record under the Alabama Open Records Act. Again, this is the email from the records manager for the city. Moreover, sharing his calendar would create a safety risk by demonstrating certain patterns of travel as well as the security procedures
such BS.
used to protect the mayor. Reed's travel does not exclusively involve his official capacity as mayor. For a small fee of $10 to $20,000, you can for a small fee of $10 to $20,000, you can book Reed for speaking engagements according to a talent booking agency called All American Entertainment, AAE. Where is the line between city-funded travel and personal engagements for which he is paid through a talent agency? Are state funds being used to facilitate these personal trips? Has the city entered into an agreement with Live Free without city approval? Is Reed being compensated for his role in touring to prop up a presidential candidate? Those are some of the questions 1819 News sought by filing multiple records requests with the city. Each time, the requests were denied. In the latest records request, 1819 sought receipts from the city's travel budget used by Reed and his chief of staff, Chip Hill. The request also sought receipts from any credit cards maintained by Reed and Hill, any itineraries, travel receipts, schedules, or any other official documents detailing out-of-state trips made by Reed, as well as any agreements Reed made with an out-of-the-state entity, business, political campaign organization in his official capacity. It also sought clarification on the city's payments to Live Free. All the records span from 2019 to the date the request was filed. The city finally agreed, Eddie, to fill out the third request, this time requesting $6,000 with 50% up front before compiling the records, hanging the price tag on manpower, and printing documents.
Such BS.
The city's website says it charges $1.50 per page for copies without giving a price tag for a manpower cost.
How much is a PDF file?
State law does allow a records officer to collect quote-unquote reasonable fees for producing public records. However, in an executive order last year, Governor K.I. Sugar capped copy fees at 50 cents per page and placed manpower costs at a maximum of $20 per an hour. Ivy's executive order only applied to state offices under the executive branch. However, the contrast is notable. That is from the desk of Craig Monger there at 1819 News.
So the guy that we hired on a salary refuses to turn over his schedule, any kind of proof of work. And when he finally halfway gets cornered, he says, "I'll sell it to you."
I think you summed it up pretty well.
No, I got to stop myself right there.
Yeah. Just another day here in the capital city. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation.
Is there another mayor in the U.S. that's like crazy like that? It's a female, and she is, I forget what town she's in, but she's over the top where she has these city council meetings, and when people try to request any kind of information,
That's a lot
she's
that could apply to a lot of people, man.
I'll send you the thing. There's one mayor lady in particular, and she's
Lori
Lightfoot even got involved. And Lori Lightfoot even said, "Hey, this chick's kind of crazy."
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. But she was doing.
Oh, she's still doing.
It's nuts. I'm
How do we know?
vaguely remember this story.
If I don't have open records, I mean, we have open records, but if they won't turn them over, how do I know what's going on? We got some P. Diddy action going on? Who knows?
No.
How do you know? You seen where he went? I know he's going to California. You seen the problem? I mean, what are we doing here?
That's just a heck of an allegation.
I just
Next to me talking about basements of pizzerias.
I like a good pizzeria where they have a basement, because usually they have the dough maker down there, and they're usually making their own dough, and that's going to be some really good stuff as opposed to frozen dough balls.
No, it is amazing though. They started this in July, requesting records, and it's October 1st tomorrow.
Call it what it is. I ain't gonna give you nothing until you make me.
Yep.
But if I'm such a good mayor and a good steward of the community, I want to brag about all the good things I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I want to hide it?
Good question. A lot of good questions raised, but the answers cost a little bit. This part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting, and they're at River Region Contracting. Todd Clark and his team are ready to help you out with that roof of yours. Could be an asphalt or a metal roof. Either type of roof should be inspected on a regular basis. Some folks do it every 3 years, every 5 years. Eddie and I have been recommending do it every year.
I would, especially here in Alabama. Look at the crazy extreme weathers we have here.
Right. Especially if you hear bumps in the middle of the night.
Yes.
You ain't climbing up there yourself.
Don't want
Nor
to.
should you.
Right.
I've seen some of y'all.
Don't need to.
Looking like Humpty Dumpty, trying to, careful, you know that story.
Yeah.
So call the pros there at River Region Contracting, and you might as well do it on an annual basis because you're not on the hook when you call them up.
That's right.
Their inspections and estimates are always free. So they could inspect, say, you're golden, see you next year.
Yep.
Maybe they do find an issue. They'll write up an estimate for free.
Accurate estimate, too.
That'll be, here's how much it's going to cost it. And then they don't stop there. Not only do they fix it, they're insurance specialists at River Region Contracting. So if they do find a problem with your roof, your insurance might cover. They can walk you through that claims process and make it a swift and easy experience. Not something normally associated with insurance claims. Right. So check them out today. That's River Region Contracting, 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell Todd Clark and the team there that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hey, this is Mike from Owens Optical in Eastbrook. We've been advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting for over 10 years now, and doing so has dramatically increased our business. The sales and production staff are some of the best I've ever worked with. Thanks, Blue Water, for all you do for us.
Did you know that radio is the #1 reach platform in all of media? It's true. Call us to find out how to put radio's #1 reach to work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
No one wants to wait on service for an overhead door. With 20 years in the industry, you now have access to the best with All Access Overhead Door. All Access Overhead Doors offers prompt professional service at affordable prices on all service and new garage doors for residential and commercial locations. All Access Overhead Door serves the River region and can take care of whatever you need when it comes to your overhead door. Remember, you have access to the best. All Access Overhead Door. Call and schedule an appointment today. 320-2440. And like them on Facebook. They sell the best and service the rest.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final moments of the program here. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. I am sitting here talking to the First Lady of Prattville. Do you want to say hello to the world, Miss Gillespie? She said, "Hey, world."
Hi.
World.
Hello. Hi. The world's saying hi back.
She's not as talkative on the radio as, say, our great Mayor Gillespie is.
I noticed that.
But hey, the good-looking one works down here at the tire store. Let's say that.
Good call, Ray.
Hey, look, don't forget we have this incredible sale going on. Half off Select Carpet, half off Select LVP. Register to win a brand new countertop. You don't have to buy anything. Just stop by the store, drop your name in the hat, and within a week or two, you have a new floor down. Just that simple.
Really is that simple, folks. And they got to actually stop by to get in that drawing for the countertop. It's 2201 Copsford Road?
It is. And, Eddie, I pulled your name back out.
Dang it.
Yeah, you're not allowed, Eddie.
Eduardo Baderez might be in it.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Ray.
And again, that number for Prattville Carpet, 285-8117. Be sure to tell them you heard Ray here on the radio with Joey and Eddie. So to close things out, it's a Darwin Awards moment.
Oh, yeah.
Man steals a vehicle to make it to his court hearing on time for a prior charge for stealing a vehicle.
Joy.
Let's listen into this story.
This is Cody Adams, shortly after Oklahoma Highway Patrol troopers arrested him near the Pawnee County Courthouse. OHP says earlier, Adams was at a gas station in Stillwater asking people for a ride to his court date in Pawnee. When he couldn't find a ride, OHP says Adams decided to hop in this unoccupied LifeNet Emergency Services vehicle and drive himself to court.
That was left on, running and unattended.
They say Adams took the truck on that 30-minute drive to Pawnee and then ditched it.
First responders had an idea of where that vehicle might be headed to.
A trooper caught him as he was walking into the courthouse. Adams saying he was just borrowing the truck.
That the trooper did, I believe he made sure that he made his court date.
Now, he still did make his court case again. OHP says after court, he was transported back to the Payne County Jail and booked on new charges. Reporting live, Zach Royale, KOCO 5 News.
That's right. There was that dude that got busted driving without a license, and he did the whole call into the court as he was driving, and the judge told the judge he was late. And the judge's like, "What are you doing now?" "I'm driving." You know.
I mean, also, I don't know. Like, obviously, I'm not a judge. I'm not a lawyer, but there's something to the guy where, at least you tried. You did it the wrong way. But no, you're obviously going to get charged and booked again.
Right.
But I do wonder down the road, like, how do you just treat somebody who's dumb? Like, there are vicious, nefarious people out there, sadistic people, psychopaths that you need to lock them up.
Yeah.
What if you're just dumb?
There's a lot of people.
Dumb and desperate. Like, I'd imagine, like, a judge is, they've got some discretion.
They do, but
they're like, why are you so dumb?
Because he does things like this and doesn't learn the lesson. Right. Maybe.
Oh, yeah, no, and I'm not saying he gets off scot-free. I'm just saying that it's ironic. Like, you stole a vehicle to make your court case, your court date, by stealing another vehicle.
And
like, he thought it, obviously, he thought it was very important. You know what I mean? But it's like, dude. And the fact that it was an emergency vehicle.
Well, it's the only one that was open and running.
Wow. Sometimes I do feel for folks like that, where you're like, I don't think it was just how he was raised.
Yeah,
I just don't think his brain's working very well.
No, that wasn't the decision, the only bad decision he's ever made.
I agree.
Led up to this.
Again, he needed to be charged a book to get, but it's just like, really, dude? Really?
Maybe he needs some online classes.
Oh, and then there are also, you'll occasionally see viral videos, like, where it's poignant. Like, you can tell somebody's just have a bad case of luck, and the judges realize it. And they're like, okay. We're going to try to help you out.
There's a judge, and honestly, I think he's passed away now this past year, but he was out of Chicago, and he was so good. There was a whole video series.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
that
about.
guy was phenomenal.
Yeah, great.
And
great temperament.
Right. And he not only, he never made anyone feel dumb, by no means. And there were people that would come in with amazing stories, and for the most part, he entertained them. And a lot of them really needed his help. In front of any other judge, a lot of them would have been screwed.
Yeah, but then there's like the TV judge stuff.
What's wrong with Judge Judy?
I'm not talking about Judge Judy. I'm thinking of that one clip. He hit me hard, Judge. He hit me with that chicken.
With a bucket of chicken.
I don't go to the hospital. I ain't got no neck.
Those guys can go on any reality TV show. They're gonna be good. It hurt.
He hit me hard. Stuff like that. Even like the people who are supposed to be serious can't keep a straight face.
No, how can you? How can you?
Or the clip of the one guy is like, now, will you do anything to stay with her? No.
Not really. No.
Have you seen the Russian one?
No.
Where it's the translation's on the bottom.
Yeah.
But she's saying, I can't live with him anymore. He thinks he's Napoleon, and the camera cuts to him, and it looks like Napoleon in the full get up regalia.
Why did that come over here? That would be good. I like it better when we made fun of other people instead of ourselves.
We do have a lot. Everybody's got dumb moments, but we got just some dumb folks out there. They're not bad people. They're just dumb.
Yeah, we do.
And they kind of need a little help. And actually, they're some of the best people on earth.
I agree, but a lot of people take advantage of them, and
they
make me very angry.
No, I think some of the worst people on earth are the smartest.
Yep.
Those are the ones you need to watch out for. The folks who just do honest day's work and like finding a good job, those are good people.
Those are solid people, but a lot of them just not that way. A lot of bad out there.
Oh, yeah. A lot of bad situations get stuck in.
Hey, has FEMA made it there yet? FEMA made it to North Carolina yet?
I think they're flying some stuff in, yeah. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. What's this picture you sent me?
I don't know. What is it?
It's like a hot dog eating contest?
Oh, that's what Mark won.
Oh, okay.
Mark Cumbie won the hot dog eating contest this weekend in Wetumpka. That's his prizes there. See the crown?
Yeah.
So cool.
Well, congratulations, Mark.
Yes.
Yeah, you captioned it as I met Dallas, but you're saying Mark Cumbie saying this is me with Dallas. He won last year.
Dallas was the guy who won last year.
Well, congratulations, Mark Cumbie. Hot dog eating champion of 2024.
Yep. Grumpy dog in Wetumpka.
You got champions that listen to this show.
Of course.
Well, and I didn't need to even know about this. I knew he was a champ anyway.
Oh, he's a great guy.
Seen a lot of listeners come and go. Seen a lot of commenters, callers. Yeah. But Mark Cumbie, you're the champ.
He does, dude. He sends in stuff all the time. Great producer.
On that happy note, let's get out of here. Greg Budell, Happy Hour. He's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana News Talk.